Hey everybody, welcome to the Last Call Whiskey Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Travis.
Hey, it's Sean.
We are three friends from Western Canada. We love all things whiskey, and tonight we're doing a bourbon episode. So we are drinking the Bardstown Origin Series, Buzzards Roost Bottled in Bond, and J. Henry and Sons La Flamme Reserve Armagnac Finish. So, boys, let's get into it.
Last Call Whiskey Podcast, the best whiskey podcast there ever was, probably. Last Call Whiskey Podcast, the best whiskey podcast there ever was, probably.
There's no Buffalo Trace here. There's no.
I like that though.
Creek. These are boutique bourbons almost.
Boutique bourbons, and I will say,
Bardstown's not boutique, but we'll get.
yeah, well, yeah. With the lack, I have not had bourbon prior to this in a hot minute. Like, I'm trying to remember. The last bourbon I had probably was a Boulder.
Yeah, I think you and Sean are on the same page there.
I have not bought a bourbon in February was a year, so almost a year and a half. I have not drank a bourbon in almost as long.
So it's a fresh. It was kind of
It made me actually like it when I tried them through. I was like, hey, this is kind of fun and exciting. But Trav, you and Lisa like to drink bourbon together, right?
Well, so I have, anytime I have bourbon on my shelf, it disappears. So like I was like try and pour a dram to go with the whiskeys we're reviewing. I have no bourbon in the house because my wife loves bourbon, and God bless her soul, she drinks all my bourbon. So I don't have a bourbon available to drink. We put the kids to bed and like to enjoy a glass of bourbon as like we're celebrating the day. And like it's like one pour. But if you do that 7 days a week, you can go through bourbon
pretty fast. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I warmed up for this episode with? I was like, what's a nice easy drinking bourbon? So I poured my Blanton's and like, no, this isn't gonna do it. Put that away. Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Yeah.
Dude, I love that one.
Yeah,
I like Wild Turkey, dude. I just do.
Yeah. I'm a Wild Turkey guy.
I had Wild Turkey Rare Breed in my house last week. It's gone. Lisa drinks it all. So.
There she was.
Looking at you, Lisa. It's I poured a Weller Antique for my warm-up dram.
Nice.
And it's my favorite Weller. I like it. And it was also the closest in ABV to the ones we're drinking tonight. Everything else is like it's like Boulder Cast Strength. It's Boulder Ryan Engen that I have on my shelf. And I was like, I'm not blowing my palate out on a 68% bourbon before we get going.
Yeah, I probably should have. The Blanton's was too low. I probably should have went with like, I don't know, what's Woodford Reserve Double Oaked? Is that still pretty low?
Oh,
Really? It's 45?
40.
Yeah.
I think it's like 45 or 46. Yeah, I think you're right.
But I'm the same way. I have like cast strength, or I have like the low ABV.
Yeah.
So we should preface all this. This episode was kind of a little bit wasn't going to happen, was going to happen. There's a whole bunch of stuff around bourbon in Canada right now. And so we decided to do it because we thought it'd be an interesting topic to talk about. And we are going to get into it with the guest, Mr. Ray Daniel, who'll be coming on with us right away here. Well, maybe we should just get right into that. We just recorded, a week ago? Week and a half?
It was 11 days ago.
It was 11 days ago. I know.
So we were good to just move on to that. So the way we're going to do things today is because Ray's not in the UK, he's on the East Coast. So we're actually going to bring him in right off the bat.
Yeah.
Then we're going to pull the bong, review some whiskeys, and buy or not buy and all that. So it's a little bit like we always do. We just kind of adapt to whoever we're interviewing and make it work. So
and I think doing like a full discussion on the topic of bourbon after we review these whiskeys and kind of use that as like the end cap of the show is pretty cool way to do it. We don't usually get that opportunity when we're waking people up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No, and there might be some people who are going to listen to this and say, "Why are you even reviewing bourbon?" And they'll say, like, we shouldn't be giving bourbon any attention right now. There's 2 provinces in the country selling it, and we're giving it extra attention. But we can talk about that, and we can talk about maybe why maybe it's okay to, like, if you're looking at a small business trying to make bourbon and make a living, why do they have to suffer for the heirs of someone far, far, far above them? As Rob Carpenter on the last episode, certain dictators in the world doing certain dictatory things.
Yeah.
But, so we can talk about all of that, and it'll be a fun conversation. But I think we'll have more to talk about after talking to Ray as well. So
totally. Yeah.
I agree. All right. Should we just bring him in?
Let's just bring Ray in.
Let's bring Ray in. All right. Let's do it.
Cast me anything. Pop the cork and pour a dram. It's time for Cast Me Anything.
What's going on there, boys?
What's going on, Ray? Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we figured doing a bourbon episode in Canada, bringing you on, seeing as you're an Irishman that was selling bourbon in Canada. We'll go over all that, but thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What we got 3 Canadians talking to an Irishman about bourbon. There's a joke here.
Yeah,
there is. Multiculturalism at its finest, boys.
Exactly.
3 Canadians and an Irishman start a bourbon podcast. And go. Well, at least we're drinking Guinness, though.
Yeah,
that's true.
There you go. Look at
exactly. I got the extra stout tonight.
They're all good.
The punchy one.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being completely honest here, and maybe we could talk about Guinness for a bit here after we introduce. If we're being completely honest, Sean, you told me about the extra stout. It's not for me. I like the old fashioned, just the standard Guinness. I don't need anything different. That's just my take.
See, for me, if I'm going to grab an Irish stout, I'm grabbing Murphy's, but it's so hard to find here.
Yeah.
Murphy's is better.
It's Trav, you got to, if you ever get over to Dublin, to the Guinness Storehouse, they have like this VIP tasting there. And you taste through like 5 different Guinness recipes. They take you through like, it's awesome, man. You would love it.
My wife and I are saving up travel points right now for a trip to Ireland. And so if we go, there's 2 things. I'm doing that, and Ray Daniel's going to be our tour guide. That's 2 things that are going to happen.
Done, first of all. Secondly, if you go to the Guinness brewery, you've got the storehouse. That's kind of all the real interactive stuff, and it's pretty cool. But they also have the outlet, if you want to call it that, called the Open Gate Brewery.
Oh yeah,
which opens a couple hours every day, but it's basically the playground for the master brewers. So it's all stuff that you're just working on and figuring stuff out. The Hop House 13, I think, was the biggest thing that's come out of there. But it's really, really cool to just try like something that a brewer went, hey, I wonder what would happen if we did this.
So
That's
cool.
awesome.
That sounds like the Holyrood distillery of Guinness brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah.
Just like, we'll just make something different every day and see what happens.
That's awesome. Okay, let's talk about bourbon. That's what we're here for tonight. So Ray, I just want you to take us back a little bit, because you worked with Beam Suntory, is that correct? Yep. How many years were you with Beam?
Actually, today would have been 8, so just shy of 8 years.
Just shy of 8 years, but you're originally from Ireland.
Yeah, correct.
So when did you come over to Canada? And like, give us a little bit of the background as to like, okay, so Irishman moves to Canada, like lead us up to how you got into doing this.
So I moved here in 06, at the end of 06, and got a job with them. I only actually came for a year. That was the plan. I got a job working for a hospitality company downtown Toronto, which is unfortunately no longer around. But they gave me the option at the time. It was really, really hard to find chefs and hospitality management.
Okay.
There wasn't a whole lot of money in it either, so it was kind of hard to find local. So they had the opportunity of keeping me, asked if I was interested in doing that. So we kind of went through the process of that, which took years. And then, after, I think I was there for about 7 years or so. And I went to work for Delta Hotels originally, who were then bought very, very shortly after by Marriott Hotels. And went to open up a new hotel for them. It was their flagship hotel in downtown Toronto. But they were opening a whiskey bar. And they had an amazing team that they had brought in as far as F&B management to kind of get the whole thing up and running. But nobody really, the whiskey bar was an idea that was thrown out one day, and everyone went, yeah, cool, let's do that. But nobody had a clue of how to actually go about that.
Okay.
So I've been curating the whiskey program at the embassy for probably my last 6 years there. So I ended up coming in, taking over that spot, was there for just over 4 years. And, we did really, really well there. Like, we were a busy little outlet. We were a very small team. There was only about 4 of us, 76 seats, but, we won Marriott Canada Bar of the Year, I think, in our second year, Marriott North America Bar of the Year in our third year. And we kind of evolved ourselves pretty quickly. Originally, we were just going to sell Canadian-made whiskey, and that was it. No vodka, gin, beer, wine, just Canadian-made whiskey.
Yeah.
Which was an incredibly novel idea. But as far as actually running an outlet that wants to make money and keep people employed, it was not.
Right.
So once we kind of opened ourselves up a little bit more to some more global offerings, we kind of jumped pretty much from 80 some odd whiskeys on our back bar to just shy of 600 over the course of, probably about 4 months. And really, really became a very, very good, great outlet. But during that time, I was dealing with all of the suppliers and started developing relationships. One in particular, very, very tight relationship, was with BiB Suntory, as they were called at the time.
Yeah.
So my predecessor went to move on. He was moving into the Scotch portfolio end of the business within Suntory. So the American whiskey job was kind of up for grabs. Applied for that, and 2018 started, and then here we are.
And here you are, because so that's all so cool. But now here we are, because you're not with BiB anymore.
Yep.
So what's happening now with you?
Just hanging.
Just hanging. I love it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I reached out is to see if you wanted to come on. You were like in California or something, just like on the beach, and you're like, "Listen, I'm too drunk to talk about this. I'll get back to you." I was like, "Yeah, hey man, go do your thing. Do your thing."
I was like, you know what? This sounds like an amazing idea. I'm way too drunk to commit to anything. So can we talk tomorrow? Is that cool?
And a couple months later, we came back to it.
Yeah. I mean, we got an opportunity to kind of take some time. I haven't had time off, like an extended period of time off, pretty much since I was like 14.
Right.
So we kind of decided to make the most of it. My wife's father lives down in California, so we went down there for a few weeks just to kind of visit them, something we hadn't done in many years. And then I came home for like a day and flew back to Ireland and spent some time with my parents. My wife joined about a week later, so we had a good bit of time over there. Just, avoiding reality, really.
Yeah.
And we kind of, once we got back to Toronto, it was like, okay, let's figure out what's up now. So, I'm still trying to keep pretty tight in with the industry and, kind of tracking how the industry is doing, doing a couple little bits here and there. But as far as representing a brand, doing a job like that it's a much bigger commitment, I think, than a lot of people
100%
imagine.
Yeah.
And you really have to find a brand and pick a brand that you're going to be happy saying the exact same sentences over and over again every single day of your life, right? And for it to still mean something to you 6 or 7 or 8 years later, right? So, still in kind of the fielding calls section of the career advancement, if that makes any sense.
It's funny because we failed to mention that you are back-to-back Canadian Brand Ambassador of the Year, according to the Whiskey Explorer Awards, and that's
Amazing.
a proud. That's an industry public voted on award. So, and it's funny because the write-up for this year, at the very end, it says, you're no longer with your company and you're the most sought-after free agent in the Canadian Brand Ambassador world. And I laugh because we're obviously hockey fans and, free agency. And it made me laugh when that sentence was on there.
First time I read it, I texted Mike Breezepaw, who operates the awards in the magazine, and was like, I'm using this as my resume now. Like, I'm not going to bother writing anything else. I'm just going to send people the link to this article because it reads like I paid someone to write it like that. But it was. Listen, anytime you get to be acknowledged for your contributions is amazing. It's something that I've never really tried to do. I've never kind of entered my day-to-day work going, okay, I need to win this or win this or win this. I think that's actually how you become a really bad brand ambassador, when you're putting kind of yourself and your own personal success ahead of that, of the brand. But I mean, to be acknowledged once is truly incredible. Twice is mind-blowing.
That's so cool.
We have 2 back-to-back winners on this podcast right now.
That is right.
And only one-time winner.
I don't want to say I'm going to be less humble than Ray. I'm trying to win all these awards. I'm doing whatever it takes to win these awards. But we weren't back to back. We were 2 out of 3 years, so I'm not quite back to back status.
Yeah,
I'm 2 out of 3.
Not everybody can be, So.
We can't. That's why I wanted to point it out. We're not equal. We are not. I am not worthy.
Oh no! I wouldn't go that far.
Ray, you had so you went obviously from running the bar and doing some of that stuff. I want you to go back kind of like to the early Beam days.
Yep.
Because I've always only worked in this industry for like real small companies. And I have this kind of line like everyone in this industry starts as a bartender or working at a liquor store. And I worked at a liquor store. You worked as a bartender. But I've always worked more for smaller companies in this industry. You went and worked for one of the big players.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of get a little insight from you, just like what that's like. And I know you talked about a little bit about saying the same lines over and over and over again. And I'm pretty sure that's more the case with the bigger agents, the bigger companies, because they have like almost rules like, no, this is our messaging per se, or to me, that's how it feels. Right. So maybe give us a little behind the scenes on how that all, you don't have to slam them. It's more of like,
oh no, look, I'll be completely honest with you. I would find it hard to find things to slam about my time with Satori. It really was great. I do find that in the way a lot of the bigger companies, especially when you're looking at the massive global players, like the Diageo's, Pernod Ricard, Suntory, Global Spirits, stuff like that, they are incredibly organized and have kind of a very, very definite vision for how things work globally and how they want the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years to roll out, right? But as far as the day-to-day in the field, what your consumer is actually hearing and feeling and seeing on a day-to-day basis, there's very, very little emphasis put on that unless somebody actually takes the reins and does it themselves, right? Yeah. So we had talking points, which are essentially, I'm sure, working in a liquor store, you've seen a million sales sheets over the course of time, when brands come in and say, hey, here's something that we're releasing, right? That's every talking point that you're ever going to be given in a BA role, right? So really kind of how I approached the role was I wanted to make sure that I was representing, first of all, Fred and Freddie and the generations of their family that came before them correctly. So a lot of it was spending time reading their book, spending time talking to them. How do they feel about things? Hearing their story. Luckily, the Beam family being around for so long, there's a lot of literature that has been written about them over the years. So you can really kind of deep dive into the brands and into the family. But then also, I really like to spend a lot of time at the distillery because I feel, as well as being the voice of, Fred and Freddie and their family, you're also the voice of the guys in the warehousing, guys in the bottling line, folks in the gift shop, everybody down there. You're kind of the local audience's gateway to that kind of experience. So a lot of it was really just, how you as an individual, and it's weird. I mean, if you were to take, myself, I'd say maybe Adam, who is the senior guy down in the US, and Tim, who's the global guy based out of New York, and had the three of us present the same three whiskeys, you're going to have three completely different presentations, right? Because we were always allowed kind of to be ourselves and bring what we thought was important to the role. So, as far as being super, super strict on what you had to say, what you didn't have to say, it wasn't so much like that. I was being maybe a little bit hyperbolic about saying the same thing every single day, but the reality of it is, we had, countless SKUs that we could talk about from our distillery, but we have priority SKUs in market, right? So even though I could spend all day talking about Claremont Steep, if that wasn't what we were pushing at the time, you're talking about Basil Hayden or Jim Beam Black or whatever. So it's really narrowing down what you can really convey to people. But yeah, so that's kind of why it tends to be a little, you have to be really, really into it. And I think that, it's kind of, as I said earlier on, the biggest thing and the easiest way to be a good brand ambassador is to make sure that your job is to be there for the brand first and then the category second. And if you get anything from it, that has to be so far down the line.
Right.
Yeah. I went to your master class. It was 2 years ago at when we were at the church.
Oh, in Ottawa,
yeah, in Ottawa for Mike Breeze for the Whiskey Wonderland, and I specifically, because you had just won the award for it, and I was like, I gotta go see this Ray Daniel guy and see what he's all about. And once you get past the Irish accent talking about bourbon part, which was a little bit odd for me, once you got over that, I found kind of what you just said, like how you like to go visit the distillery, and it really felt like you were just a part of that company and you weren't working for Beam. It just kind of felt like you were a part of the company. And I always say the best ambassadors tell stories, and you were telling stories that made us feel like we were something that you can go to a masterclass, 100 masterclasses, and if they're just going to tell you about the whiskeys in the distillery and that, you're never really feeling like you're a part of something special. But you really did seem to capture like that essence of the distillery and what made it unique and the history and all that. So yeah, I would say you nailed it, is what I'm saying now.
Thanks, man. Yeah, personally, I hate like sales pitches. I can't stand being pitched to. Yeah. So kind of that was my big thing when I started the role, was I never wanted to have a presentation in any way, shape, or form, even if it was a sales pitch, that felt like a sales pitch, because it's not why I took the job. I took the job to bring people into that world, to hopefully make them feel a part of it, right? And not just feel like somebody was there talking at them. Yeah. It was somebody was there to really just give them an experience of what is a day like at the James Wood Distilling Company or Maker's Mark or Yamazaki or wherever.
So cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like obviously you were a guest on my former podcast that we were all involved with. And we hit it off because I may be corrected, but you're from the town of Kilbeggan.
From just outside of it.
Yeah.
So town of Kilbeggan is small. Have you had an opportunity to get over there yet?
Not to Kilbeggan. No. I have an open invite to go sleep on the grounds in a tent, and they will let me come and see the water wheel and all that. But yes,
yeah, it's small. Every town in that area of Ireland is pretty small, but there's essentially a motorway that runs along the side of Kilbeggan, and that's kind of where three counties meet. So you have County Westmeath, County Offaly, and County Kildare. So just across the highway will be County Kildare. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
That's
but
cool.
You're talking miles.
It's you're like dead smack in the middle of the island.
Yeah. I mean, you're driving. You're what? You're about an hour from Dublin and about an hour and 20 from Galway. So
that's amazing.
You're almost right in the middle of the country. Yeah.
It's almost like the perfect place to be after I've toured the island, and now it's like that'd be perfect to go wherever you want to go.
It is, I mean, it's not many options of place to stay. I will give you that heads up.
Maybe that's why they offered me a tent on the ground.
yeah. It might have sounded like a little bit of a charming joke, but it was probably deadly serious. But I think Ireland it's really such a wonderful country, and it's cool that so many people come to visit and they spend time in Dublin and usually Galway and Killarney or Cork or kind of one of the big cities, the kind of cities that are maybe a bit more manicured for people coming over to visit and give us all that money. But when you get down to somewhere like kind of Kilbeggan and kind of that sort of area of Kildare and Offaly and the Midlands, I mean, you're seeing, like, to me, what Ireland is, kind of the Ireland I kind of grew up in, right? Where, everybody walking down the street, there's, the smell in the air of just peat smoke, right? And because you're literally on a bog, right? Like, the smoke is there because the buddy went out last week and cut a bunch of turf out of his plot. And that's how they're heating their house. That's it, So I think you get, like, a lot of the things that people view as being the romantic side of Ireland. I think that's kind of more what it is, certainly what it is for me. But it is boring as all hell.
It's funny because when we were there, we spent 10 days and we kind of did the full circle, except when we hit Sligo, we went inland to Athlone to go to Sean's bar, and then we went right back out to Galway. But I remember distinctly being 28 degrees Celsius and still going through these small towns and all you can smell is peat in the air. You're like, how? But it's because that's what they use to cook and everything. And
when I was growing up, we had a peat range, so that that not only heated your house, but that was what you put your pots on top to boil the water to make tea or stew or whatever was being made, right? Like that was, my grandparents had one until, relatively recently. I mean, they've been dead for quite a while, but like that house until relatively recently still had, so it's still, but definitely not as common as it used to be. Like we have like electricity and stuff now, but
I was about to ask actually.
And indoor plumbing, which is like a really cool thing. But yeah, it's still, and it's something that I really hope we never lose, because it's such a, to me, it's such a massive part of the culture that a lot of us, even as Irish people, don't really think about until these things are taken away from us, right?
Well, it's funny because like Scottish whiskey is synonymous with peat smoke, and I remember driving. We were in Donegal, and we were driving south, like around Ardara, somewhere around there, and we came across, and literally there was people out in the field cutting peat and stacking it, and it was like my first kind of visual of that. And then I remember being in Galway in the hotel we stayed at. There was a gas station, a fuel station, and they were selling briquettes. And I was like, this is so cool. So of course, what do? I come home, and on Amazon, I ordered a case of 32 briquettes. And of course, when it arrived, I was at work, and my wife went to pick it up from the post office, and there was about a 4'11" woman working at the post office, and my wife's 5'4", and the two of them, I guess, struggling to get it into the back of our truck because it weighed a ton. And it was so funny. But yeah, I still have 2 bricks left of that because I've given them out and did them with present.
I buy these little, they're like very, very, very mini pieces of Irish peat, and I'll just burn them in the house every now and again just to kind of remember that smell, especially in the fall. I mean, open the door on the balcony, burn some peat. Oh, yeah, that's
yeah. I have Hebridean Candle Company, and they have peat smoke scented candles.
Yeah,
same thing. And I have one of those like every gift shop has it. The little cottage with the little,
Oh, yeah, you put singing in, yeah.
Of course, I have that, but yeah, no, it's that smell is awesome. Like we used to have fires in our backyard, and I would throw a full B&M brick that was like a brick size onto the fire when it was down smoldering, and people in the neighborhood would be like, "What the hell are they burning in their fire?" But
So it's sweet and it's
yeah.
I was in your backyard for a COVID fire one year, Sean, and you threw one of those in, and we just sat around just drinking whiskey all night. It was great.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay, I got a question here. So we are like four guys that love like, you know, like I love Scotch, I love Irish whiskey, I drink bourbon. So my question for you, Ray, is as like an Irishman that was, you know, representing bourbon brands in Canada, like I want you to give us a pitch. What would you say to like a Scotch or Irish whiskey lover to persuade them to drink bourbon?
I think honestly, the biggest one, and it goes for Canadian whiskey as well, a lot of the time. Forget about that night when you were 16 or 17 and you drank too much, right? Because that's 99% of the time why a lot of people kind of, you know, in their 30s, 40s don't drink it, because I had that one night and I don't, right? And it's also to remember that, you know, what you have been given over the years might not have necessarily been the great representation of what bourbon is. So go into it with, you know, with kind of open eyes. I always like to at least get some information from people so that you can steer them the right way, right? You know, if someone says, I really don't like spicy, right? Well, then, you know, giving them a bottle of a very high rye bourbon is probably going to be a bad idea, right? I kind of leaning more towards something that was weeded, maybe, or something like that, right? And that's, again, you know, one of the really, really great parts of kind of a job like a brand ambassador is that you get to be able to have those conversations with people. A lot of the time, if you ask the right questions, people will kind of tell you what they want to drink.
Right.
They just don't know it, right? But you know what it is. And again, I always thought it was a really good mark of a great bartender. Is if somebody come in and say, you know, I'm in the mood for something sweet, but not super sugary, but a little sour, but I also don't want it to be like a whiskey sour. I want something that has a bit more kind of depth to it. Cool. Yeah. What do you like? Do you like whiskey? Do you like vodka? Do you like gin? And being able to just pull that stuff out of your head and boom, here you go. You know, the right questions will do it. As far as just kind of like, you know, elevator pitching with people, what I always try to do is just best explain to them what bourbon is.
Right.
You know, what you're most likely going to find from it. Give those kind of cold notes of it and say which of these sounds the best to you. And you can kind of lean from there again into which way it works.
Love it. It's do you have a bourbon that you think is too overhyped?
Yeah. Yes.
Now that you're not with any agencies,
you're a free agent. You can say whatever you want. This is a safe place, Ray.
Also thinking about where I might want to end up. In the next
But don't worry. We're only up to 17 listeners monthly, you know, so it's probably not going to influence
the CEO for Buffalo Trace is not one of the 14. My mom stopped listening. We're down to 13.
But you know what though, my wife might actually follow, so that's one. Okay.
Oh,
all right. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Overhyped, sure, absolutely. I mean, I would say 99% of it is overhyped, right? 99% of whiskey out there is overhyped. I personally think. You know, it's a luxury. It's a luxury. It's a luxury good. But I think what we all need to remember is that it's a drink. It's something that you're meant to enjoy. This is not something that's going to, you know, put another man on the moon or you know, where I could be able to cure cancer with it. If we could, it would be fucking amazing. But like, some people take things just way too seriously, and I think that drives into the, you know, things being overhyped. Pappy, it's kind of unfortunate for Pappy, I think, in a lot of ways, because Genuine it's not a bad whiskey by any stretch of the imagination. But when you're seeing it become anything that becomes a status symbol, and you're looking at, there's no whiskey, nothing ever made that's worth $4,000, $5,000 a bottle, right? That's my personal opinion. None of them are. There are ones that brands I really, really, really respect, but just for some reason have never done it for me personally.
Yeah.
I mean, Wild Turkey is a really good example. What the Russell family have done for the industry it's immeasurable, and truly incredible people. And the people that work down at the distillery are awesome. Some of the taste of a lot of the whiskeys they make that just doesn't sit with me, which is fine, right? But I think there's probably a lot that are overhyped. You can't really do anything but blame, also a lot of the companies, because overhyped is good in a lot of circles within certainly the larger producers. And then when you look at, Scotch whiskey, I think is a great example. I was just going through some numbers earlier on today, and seeing the softness in the Scotch whiskey market right now, and going through kind of all the distribution numbers, pretty much for like the top 4 or 5 markets globally. 90% of that softness can be attributed to price, and price production sure has increased, but not to the level where we need to see $30, $40, $50 jumps in a 12-year-old age-dated whiskey, right?
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest threats that the whiskey industry is facing right now is just greed, right?
Right.
And I think that does lean into a lot of the kind of brands becoming overhyped. Oh my God, for 12 years old to be $200 a bottle, it must be amazing. It's like, well, no, but the CEO's bonus was, right?
Yeah.
There's something what you just talked about there, Ray, and I think this to me is where bourbon kind of finds a little bit of a pocket in the market that Scotch can't hit, and it is, you can get a good bottle of bourbon in Canada for a lower price than you can get a good bottle of Scotch. I truly believe that. You can go to the market and get or your local whiskey shop and get a good bottle of bourbon in that $60, $50-$60 range. There's not a lot of Scotch that I would call good or really good in that range. I would say next to none. And I think that's a pocket of the market that it kind of just owns.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I wouldn't say initially it kind of attracted me to the bourbon industry, because it was something I didn't really fully grasp until I was already in it. But there's a much different mindset around pricing when it comes to bourbon than, say, Scotch. I will just use Scotch because they're the easiest target for this. Bourbon, I think, it's much more deeply rooted in community. You've got distilleries in remote, pretty much for the most part, fully remote areas, right? Where you're employing most of the town for generations upon generations upon generations. Not only are they generations of employees, but they're also generations of your customers as well. I think it was Fred one day that said, well, we're not making this for it to sit on someone's shelf. That's not why we're doing this. It's not why we go to work every day, right? We're doing this so people can drink it. So what's the point in going through all that effort, all that R&D for a new product, and then have it hit the price or hit the shelf at a price where no one can afford it, right? It doesn't make any sense. I have had to have a lot of kind of heated conversations over the years where, we'd be bringing new products in and I'd see the price that they were aiming for. And I'd be like, no, please, just do a straight conversion with the US, right? Like, we want people to drink this, and they're just not going to open the bottle at $100 a bottle. If we can sell it for 75, well, let's bring it in at 75 and see what happens with it. I remember we saw it, like, just Booker's alone, the price of Booker's jumped in the 8 years that I was there, right? I mean, there was a point where here in Toronto, as a bar operator, if you wanted Booker's, you had to know the day it was coming out so that you could go to the store and pick it up, because it was gone in a couple hours. And now you can go for 6 months after it gets released and buy it, right? Because there is a threshold that the general drinker are willing to pay, and it is around about that $100, right? Once it goes above that,
why is that number higher? Because it's kind of a weird, because I think that number's higher for Scotch drinkers than it is for bourbon. So why is that? Because I've always wondered that, because it's kind of the same for me. I'm kind of like, after about $100 for bourbon, it needs to be like a pretty special bourbon, whereas for Scotch, it's like a different. So what makes that happen? Like
expectation, probably. When we kind of started seeing that first big massive jump in towards like high age statement, or towards just everyone releasing age statement within the Scotch industry. So going back, say, from starting off, say, the 60s, but really kind of coming up towards the mid 80s, where whiskey was on the decline anyway. It was expensive comparatively, right? Compared to vodka, or compared to gin or whatever, right? So there was already that expectation that you were going to spend a lot of money on it, right? Whereas when we're looking at spirits that were made in North America, we were paying cheaper price because we didn't have international freighting. We didn't have all this sort of stuff, right? So one started high and one started low, and you can only increase at a certain increment before people start to go, nah, we're not doing it, right? Yeah. So I would say there is an expectation that you're just going to pay more for Scotch. I mean, it is, I know bourbon is an important product here, but it's something that we could ship up on trucks. Right?
That's true.
So that the cost is not as high as getting stuff from Japan or from Ireland or Scotland or whatever. And I think, marketing as well. The bourbon industry has done an awful job of marketing when it comes to outside of the US. Right? The Scotch whiskey industry did an amazing job of it. So they've already kind of placed themselves in a luxury high-end position, whereas bourbon was the cowboy drink in the saloon and the Western movies, right? And it's not something that you're going to, again, expectation. That's something you're going to expect to have to go and spend. Plus also, I mean, dude, you can go to the store and buy a bottle of Jim Beam Black for $35, $40. And I mean, that's going to, in my personal opinion, going to wipe 99% of the bourbons out there. Right? Like,
right.
The quality can be found at a low cost.
Yeah.
Well, Scotland's stealing all the American actors for their commercials too. So
yeah, nothing's ever going to beat. I don't know if you remember this or not, but do you remember Johnny Walker did an advertisement with Robert Carlyle?
No,
Scottish actor.
I don't remember that.
He was in Train Spotting with the other 6 Scottish actors, but he's been in like a bunch of stuff over the years. 28 Days Later, I think he was in. But it's one shot, 5.5 minutes long, of just him walking down this random Highland road in Scotland, telling the story of Johnny Walker. But it's all one take the entire way down. Personally, I think it's the best whiskey ad of all time. Seriously, check it out, because it is.
I'm going to look that up. Yeah.
You know what? I have, so my work computer, actually my YouTube account, because I mostly watch it at work when I'm getting paid. I have the first 13 videos that are saved on my YouTube account are all whiskey ads. And there's some very, very cool ones. And that one, I think, is one that I have saved there.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I mean, I think in every way. But that's actually a great example. You'd have a company like Johnny Walker who they're so big. I mean, they don't need to go to that effort to do something like that, but they will, right? Because it's a great way to showcase what your brand is about. We don't really get that in the American whiskey industry, right?
I mean, you get Matthew McConaughey, Nathan, Nathan
like,
Ratliff. You get the celebrity whiskeys.
You get the celebrity endorsements, but
yeah,
I think that's the ad. The ad is, oh, look, it's that guy.
Yeah,
and that's there's nothing else, right? No substance to it.
Yeah, very true, very true. Okay, so there's obviously an elephant in the room when it comes to bourbon. With our neighbors to the south, let's just get into it.
Sure.
So the tariffs and everything that happened along that including the most provinces stopping bringing it in. What's your, as you're now no longer have an umbrella over you, what's your take on all of it as somebody who did bring in and sell bourbon to now kind of being on the outside looking in?
Honestly, my take or my opinion on it has never really changed. You know, it's something that I can kind of see. It's almost like there's two different ways of seeing it, right? As far as a retaliatory action to another country imposing tariffs, I get it being, you know, a great shot across the bow, and I think it was a necessary one. But the reality of it is that, you know, a lot of that stuff never really came to fruition, right? I think when it comes to any one country threatening the sovereignty of another country, maybe I'm a little bit more sensitive to that considering where I'm from, but I 100% think that it does warrant a higher action. So something like this is massively warranted. On the other side of it, there's the fact that, you know, 1, 2, 3 months, let them know you mean business. Sure, absolutely. When you start to get into, you know, the 1 year plus of it, and companies start to see huge declines. You know, I mean, I was pulling some numbers today, just have a look, so I wanted to have a cheat sheet here because I kind of figured this would come up. But I mean, you take the LCBO alone, right? Which would be Canada's biggest, you know, seller. Pre-ban, we're looking at roughly $956 million US a year, right? That dropped to zero. But a lot of the social programs in place in the province of Ontario are in place and funded by taxes that are brought in from the LCBO. You also have a lot of people, myself included, but not just limited to myself, whose livelihood relied on it. You know, so now not only do we not have those people contributing positively to society, but we are also now in a position where you have to draw from social services in order to get close to staying with your head above water. So, you know, for the first few months, yeah, cool. But then after that, you're kind of feels almost like you're gambling with your population just to make a point. And you know, I do know that a lot of provinces have come back and said, you know what, we think it's time. Let's start reintroducing this stuff to ourselves. We don't want it sitting in our warehousing anymore. It's costing us an absolute fortune, which means us, you know, because we are those government that they get their money to operate from us. The LCBO alone, you know, it wrote off. It destroyed $2 million US worth of product. Right now, that's not product that this government had paid for because of the consignment rules within the LCBO. That's $2 million of product that was sitting, being paid to warehouse until it's spoiled, paid to be destroyed just for the sake of throwing a finger up at someone who, just for being realistic, isn't watching, right? I think there are better ways to do this. You know, my concern from day one was going to be the impact it would have on Canadians, outside of just what our options are for purchasing stuff on the shelf are. There are real life consequences to a lot of this stuff. But as I said, I get it to a degree, right? Like,
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's a very, very difficult, nuanced, I guess you'd say, situation, and I think something that, being realistic, we don't need to be in, right?
I think you summed it up perfectly. It's kind of how I've felt all along. Now, I will admittedly say I haven't purchased a bourbon since February of 2025, just kind of on principles. But I get that me doing that, now me alone, I'm not going to have any effect, but people in general, you're not hurting the people that made these policies. You're hurting the people that are producing it and selling it, and
Importing it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's PWS, they got their first check, and then now they have nothing because they had to lose their American brands. Like, I get it.
But it is really. I was just sitting there going, "Yeah, man."
but like my dad, I've said it before. He manages a BC liquor store. He's a government employee. He manages a BC liquor store, and not the biggest one in the city that he's in. But when I've been there, we went and looked at the big signature store, and he's like, "Yeah, these 4 shelves was where all the American stuff is, and now it's sitting there with Nanaimo bar liqueur and." And you're just like, oh, okay. And it's weird, but in a sense, I get it. But like you said, in a sense, it's a back-assward way of trying to go about everything.
Yeah, it's a really, it's odd, right? And I mean, I think for an industry as well, right? This is it's essentially a era of prohibition that we're in, right? The government have structurally put in place rules to stop us from being able to purchase a certain alcoholic product, right? So they've put that prohibitive stance in place. So for an industry to be able to navigate that, right? I mean, industries can navigate cyclical declines because they're all used to them. They know it's going to happen. They know what eventually that bubble will burst, and they kind of have an idea of how to get out of it. But it's going to be really interesting to watch how the U.S. industry tries to get out of this one, because we've never really had a structural decline in place, right, where it's not so much about, oh, well, it's not the hot thing right now, but it eventually will be. There's going to be another, Mad Men-esque TV show, and all of a sudden people are going to want to purchase, whiskey again. It's going to be, I think, a much bigger deal. And, we're talking American whiskey, but U.S. alcohol in general, U.S. wine is, what's a 78% decline? That's $357 million Canadian business.
Yeah,
it's US dollars. Yeah, that was their fall. US spirits dropped 143 million. Beer brands, because a lot of them were able to move their production to places in Canada if they weren't already producing in Canada, didn't see as big a drop in it, or the RTD market. But you're looking at wine, like that 1 year being down $357 million. That's hard to recover from.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The thing with wine is people can buy well-made wines from any other country, lots of other countries.
100%.
Bourbon is that's kind of the weird one. Bourbon is like, that's an American product. Wine is wine. That's why I feel like the wine one probably dropped so much, because people have a real easy time finding other wines.
That's true.
There's also
from California or wherever, or Oregon. Bourbon is bourbon, and that's, I think, why it's such a interesting conversation to have.
So you actually brought up a good one there, because wine had this really weird price creep, right? Where you had people who were buying, let's just use a California Chardonnay as a great example, right? I'm going to buy that California Chardonnay because it's pretty good quality. It tastes good, and it's like $11 a bottle, right? I'm buying it also because I do want to have that bottle of Chablis, but that bottle's $16, and I don't want to spend $16.
Yeah.
That Chablis has maybe increased by $1.80 over the course of 4 or 5 years. That $12 bottle of California Chardonnay is now $20.
Right.
So when you pull that off the shelf and people start looking at other countries and go, shit, I could have been drinking really good stuff from France or Italy or, Spain, Portugal for cheaper.
Yeah.
And straight away, it's an easy jump for them into a different category. Bourbon, on the other hand, I mean, look, yes, bourbon is in a name, right? So theoretically, yes, you can produce a bourbon-esque product anywhere in the world, right?
Not bourbon, but we'll get to that later. It's fine.
You can, but what you can't do is you can't replicate 220, 230 years of R&D that has been done to find those perfect ways of producing it. And then you also can't do it for 25 or $30 a bottle.
Yeah.
You're doing it for $75 a bottle, right?
Yeah.
Which is, again, is kind of, it's a little bit of a jump for people who are going, well, fuck, I mean, is it not just cheaper for me to get my stuff in or shipped out from Alberta now? Right? Like,
Right.
Go on BSW and get my stuff sent to me, right? Rather than going and spending $75 for a bottle of Canadian made product that is calling itself a bourbon, which is made the same way, but it's, so I think there's it's a lot to it. It's been cool that people have had an opportunity to try more Canadian products, more American or more Scotch, Japanese and Irish, Indian, all over the world. It's been great. But it's probably one of the hardest ones to replicate, right?
Right.
Is to scratch that itch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if it was a couple months ago, 3 months ago now, and all of the BC and Ontario allocation for Blanton's just appeared in Alberta. So you had every store with cases and cases of it until we see today in our group chat, somebody went to Costco and there is flats of it, like a whole pallet of Blanton sitting there. And the joke is, hey, if you need some letters, just go to Costco and look for the ones that you need, because they're selling it for like $71. Now, the price, whether that matches the quality, anybody can discuss that. But like, you've never seen it at $70 a bottle for the Blantons, and the grenade style bottle with the horse on top is very recognizable. It's just crazy that all of Canada's shipment basically came to Alberta, and every store was like, oh, sweet, I'll bring in a pallet of it. And then they're stuck with it. And now we're seeing these price decreases. But like you said, it's the stores that ship from Alberta it was almost a blessing for them, because they still brought in the bourbon, and they were still getting more and more people shipping it across Canada.
Like, I think bourbon's recovery, and this might be, mostly pushed by hopefulness, but looking from a logical standpoint as well, I think bourbon's reintroduction to market will probably be a lot easier than the rest of the American-made spirits, American wine, and stuff like that. One, because it's really, really hard to replicate. But I did an audit of the Albertan market back very, very start of December. So it was basically going around a bunch of different retailers and just kind of going over numbers with them. What have you seen since you started putting stuff back on your shelves? It was coming around a time that a lot of them were just starting to reintroduce American spirit whiskey to flyers as well. So something that they kind of held off quite a bit on, just because they were being careful of what the kind of consumer feedback might be on that. But they were showing 60, 70, 75% return custom on it. So basically they were back to about 60, 75% of what their sales would have been beforehand, which was strong and very a good sign. But I also have to look at where does bourbons where do the sales really come from, right? The sales really aren't coming from us. We're buying the high ticket items, we're buying the rarer products, we're buying some of that. But the country is run, and the industry is run on Jack Daniels, on Jim Beam White,
right,
on Bullet Bourbon, on BT to a lower degree. And they're high volume plays. They're concerts, they're games, they're something like that. And once they're reintroduced back, 99% of people who are drinking in situations like that don't care. Right? What am I able to get to drink? Cool, I'll have that. What's on special? What's that cocktail? It's in a glass that lights up from the bottom. We'll have 4 of those, right?
Yeah.
That's really, and it's true. I mean, these are things that we did over the years, right, just to drive sales in some of our kind of larger areas. So I think that business might come back. The barrier would be whether or not those venues will be willing to allow the American spirits back in,
right,
to get a chance to recover like that. But money does talk, and if there's any sort of proof there or any sort of kind of metrics that will show that it will sell, then they'll go to Almighty Dollar. But it's such a weird position for the industry to be in.
Totally. It totally is. Okay, I want a 3 quick shot answer from you on something here. So, in your experience, I want your favorite like $40 bourbon, $60 to $80 bourbon, and $100 bourbon.
Okay, yeah, I think that'd be pretty easy. $40 bourbon, Jimmy Black, man.
Yeah,
Jimmy Black. It's perfect. It really is.
Yeah.
$80. 80 is a tough one because
60 to 80.
60 to 80. So that one's like a little bit of spread on that one.
He's looking at his shelf. I could tell. He's looking
I am. I'm gonna probably go outside the Beam portfolio on this one. Heaven Hill. What one was it? Lou Label. I can't remember what it was called. That was in around that $50, I think.
I find that 60 to 80 is a weird category. It's a weird price point for bourbon in Canada. Yeah. There's like that 40 to 60, and then it's like 100. And there's not a lot in the middle ground there.
Yeah, totally.
That 50 to 80 kind of category is a lot of the time, or the 60 to 80 is a lot of the time the products that really should be closer to 50.
Bottled and bond.
Yeah. That's probably right about that price, right?
Yeah.
Checking local prices right now.
And then for the 80, I mean Baker's.
Oh, for the 100?
Yeah, Baker's.
Yeah.
Baker's.
And you get the nice box too. The box is nice. Oh, Baker's. Sorry, I thought you said Booker's.
Baker's does have a pretty nice bottle on it.
Yeah.
Baker's would be, definitely.
Those are good.
I mean, that's
great
not
picks.
being a company guy by any means, right? That's I think great products.
I have another quick. Oh, sorry, Sean. Did you find a price?
Yeah, Heaven Hill bottled and bond 7-year-old, $68. So it was right smack dab in the middle.
Okay,
All right.
Perfect.
Now I'm going to look for that one actually.
Yeah.
So my Ray, this is another quick hitter, but my wife drinks all my bourbon, like all of it. Like I couldn't even find a splash.
You gotta buy more bourbon.
And I'm trying to how do I get her to stop? What's the answer?
I mean,
Or no, you want her drinking more, so I gotta buy more. That's the answer.
every bit of corporate in me is going, you don't get it to stop.
It's not. I thought you'd have an answer like, just pour her this bourbon. She'll never want bourbon again.
Oh, buy it by the case.
Yeah, just buy bulk and get a discount.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let her know. Lisa.
Okay, we'll do another quick hitter for you. What is your ultimate dream job, whiskey or otherwise?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I think I don't know if there is like one. I did my degree in music, so I think if I could do that just professionally and not have to worry about anything else in the world, then that would of course be number one. The second thing about music is that you can't, right?
It's so true.
Like if you want to play Bon Jovi at weddings every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go. You'll probably be able to make some decent money out of it. But as far as like composing and stuff, you're fucked. I think within the whiskey industry, not every company has them, but sometimes you'll have heads of advocacy. So basically, where you build out, what is the story? How should the story be told? So it's basically just kind of the brand ambassador, but you're kind of like the head of the brand ambassadors, so to speak.
Right.
So really, really kind of delving more into the storytelling end of it, and then how should we be coming across? That to me has always been kind of like the realistic dream, or semi-realistic, I guess. But that to me is because I really do believe that the strength of whiskey, of all categories of whiskey, the strength is in the story, right? Even if you just opened your distillery yesterday, right? That category, wherever you are, that industry has been around for centuries. And there's so much inbuilt into that, right? And, whether it's, here in Canada and how important the industry was, for actually building the country after Confederation, to Ireland, of how it was such an important part culturally, as far as like actually being part of the fabric of being an Irish person. And the same can be said for Scotland, for the US, and how much of an impact, both negatively and positively, it has had in the realistically the short 250 years that country has been, the United States. I mean, whiskey has been ingrained in every single big moment that country has had, right? And continues to be so, I guess. So there's so many stories there, and I was always big on storytelling. I believe that a story is important. There's an old Irish kind of position within the community that used to be called the Shanachie, and the Shanachie was basically the storyteller, right? Because for a fairly big part of our history, we were an oral history, right? So that's how the people who came before you, how their stories were passed down and how they were remembered, was through storytelling. So the Shanachie would be the person who would relay the story of the town to the other townspeople over the course of their life. And everybody wants to leave an impact. Everybody wants to leave a legacy and leave something behind after they're gone, right? And I think one of the most magical things about being a storyteller is that you get to have that honor of being of carrying on someone's legacy and carrying on someone's story. So yeah, being able to work around with the stories of a brand is, to me, it's a hell of a lot more than marketing.
There, I gotta jump on this quick. What was your favorite Jim Beam story to tell at events? Just to carry on that question, because you're a storyteller. Like one that you were like almost every tasting, you're like, I gotta bring this, or because I'm sure there's plenty of them. But it's been a minute. Hang on, I have to remember what we were thinking. You don't have to, if it's on the spot, you don't have to do it. But it's. No, I remember one from your master class. I just remember you telling a specific story and me being like, man, that's really cool. I see Jim Beam in a different light after that. So
you mean Jim Beam the person or the brand?
No, just the distillery, the story, and all of it. Yeah, just.
Come back to me on that one. I gotta go in my head, because there are so many of them a lot of the time. So I worked it out at one point, and if I started talking, I could go 24 hours on the distillery and the brands within it, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do a lot of the time is during presentations, I would kind of just feel what way the crowd were leaning. Are they enjoying the funny approach? If not, let's go for the nerdy approach. Are they enjoying the nerdy approach? No, drop in a really bad joke. Kind of figure it that way. Am I being too simple? Am I being too technical? So a lot of the time, depending on which way you went, the different stories will pop into your head, right? So a lot of the time it was never, ever scripted, ever. Which I know that some people at my company did not love. But yeah, I mean, I've had some good stories with Beam, but I don't know how many of them I can tell on broadcasting. Yeah, no, I don't think I'll tell those ones. Actually, I do. I've got a couple good ones because now I can tell them. I went one time to Montreal. It was my first trip to Montreal after starting with the company. So I don't know. I was maybe with the company for 2 months-ish, 3 months. I got in and I'm not a great flyer anyway, but when I started the job, I was a particularly bad flyer, and we had an awful flight from Toronto into Montreal. So when I got off the flight, I was like shaking. All I just wanted to do was get to my hotel and have a drink and just kind of try to calm down a little. So as I'm going in, a buddy of mine who was with the company, kind of a branch of the company at the time, texted and said, "Hey, I'm in town. There's a bar closing up tonight, or this week they're having a week-long kind of celebration. Tonight is their flare competition. Do you want to come and check it out? It's like, sure, yeah, cool, I'll go. So we rock up, and it turns out that in Montreal, when you close your bar, even if you have another location, you can't just bring the product with you. The product is stamped and licensed to that one specific location.
Oh, interesting.
So what they were doing was they were just selling it all off. So everything was at least half price, if not more, right? So we started drinking Booker's whiskey sours. And it's shocking how fast and easy they go down, right? So after about maybe hour 4, I was still smoking cigarettes at the time. I went outside for a smoke, and it was like a truck hit me. Once the air kind of caught me, I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. Because not only do I not know if I'll make it back to my hotel, but I have no idea where the hotel is. So I was kind of standing there, so I went back into my buddy. I was like, I'm tapping it. I gotta go. Like I'm really not doing too good. And this is a much more legible or much more kind of coherent way I'm saying it now, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot more Irish and a lot more fluid. So I kind of walk down the street a little bit, and there's this like takeaway spot. I know poutine. Poutine would be the perfect thing. So I grab one, and there's this little parquet, and I go and I sit on the bench of the parquet, and everything goes black. And I woke up in the morning, and I was still sitting on the bench, and I still had the poutine. I hadn't even taken a bite from it. And I had to go to work, like straight. So I find my hotel, get back, shower, put on a suit, go in to these people who, didn't want to speak to me anyway because, I have zero French. And yeah, that was, now it was a great story, but I wanted to die. Like I wanted to be
that's a great story.
And that was like my first, like, oh, so this is what the job can be. I gotta keep an eye on this part of the job, right?
I was in pharmaceutical sales for 6 years, and we had head offices in Montreal, and I had several mornings with a suit and tie on in rooms with people that I did not want to be around.
Man, the wheels can fall off real quick out there.
Yeah. It's a fun town, and it can. And I'm sure I had some poutine in my hand as well.
It's how stereotypical can you be, right? And I probably would have found it funny if I didn't want to throw up everywhere. But so that's the lesson of the story, kids, is do not drink Booker's whiskey sours.
Whiskey sours. That is awesome.
Oh my God.
That is great. Okay, so Ray, like based on everything we've talked about today, where do you see bourbon going the next like 5, 10, 20 years? Like you were working alongside brands. What's your take on it? What do you kind of predict?
I think right now it's hard to tell, right? Because not only in Canada are you seeing a massive collapse, really, of the industry, but globally you're seeing it, right? Australia is one of the biggest markets for American whiskeys. It's down 7%. So you'd call that, a softening of the industry, but not necessarily a collapse. But a lot of that is driven by consumer sentiment. Right. So it's anti-American products, and certainly a big focus on buying Australian-made products. 35% decrease of shipments to the EU, right? And pretty much all of that is down to consumer sentiment, because the tariffs never really fully took a hold there. So, I think, it all being the status quo, we've got another 3 years, really, 2.5 years, until people have an opportunity to maybe even think about changing their opinion. Even if stuff comes to market, I think once stuff starts to come to market, American whiskey will, I think, rebound. It might be slow. It's going to cost companies a lot of money, right? Because they're going to have to essentially be treating it as if they're entering the market for the first time ever, and not just picking up at halftime kind of thing. So, I think it's going to be a long road for the industry.
Yeah.
I hope it rebounds because we were just getting to a really good spot, right? Like we really were just getting to a good spot, and seeing that just from kind of inside the industry of what companies were lining up to start sending to Canada and start giving Canada allocations of. We were about to really move into the space of being a mature market, right? Which Canada has never had the opportunity of being. And we don't get that from the US, or from the Ireland, and from Scotland, and even from Japan. We don't get treated like a mature market. We get treated like a small market. So we were at a really, really, really good spot. So it would be great to not see all that work that everybody in the industry over the years has done all be kind of for nothing. I know there's a lot of people who don't want to do it again, have to start at the start, but it's going to cost companies a lot of money of even just in goodwill gestures, right? Of like, hey, you want to come down to our distillery? And hey, let's there's going to be a lot of that going. Kentucky's it's a weird place, right? Because personally, I love it down there, and I know that it is a hotbed for everything that a lot of this stuff is against, right? But if you're able to kind of put that aside, there are a lot of really, really great people. And you look at somewhere like Louisville, for example, which really does rely on bourbon tourism.
Right.
That city is not what you would imagine Kentucky as being, right? It's a very inclusive, very liberal, very kind of cool, everybody be who you are, do what you want to do place, right? Accepting place. And they're feeling the hit. Canadians make up what? They say between 1% and 3% of people who take the bourbon trail, right?
Right.
1% and 3%, that's still, 80,000 people who are injecting money into the local economy. Yes, the industry, there's not that many, there's layoffs, but not as big as you would imagine. But when you're looking at distilleries scaling back in production, Kentucky taxes on product barrels that are aging. So when you stop filling barrels, that dries up the taxes that go into socially funded stuff, that go into even just keeping the roads going and the schools going. So there's so many trickle down bad things that can come from this that a lot of people don't kind of really think about. I'm sure the people at the top do. They're very, very aware of it, right? They just don't care. But I think being a human, we kind of have to be able to care about this stuff. And nobody wants other people to just be in a bad place just for the sake of saying we won. It's not worth it, right? So I think it will be a hard run back, but I'd say you come back in 5 years and we'll be back to the what was the original, let me see here, overall loss for 2025, $536 million. So are we back to $536 million of imports? Sure, probably.
I can say my wife will be doing her part.
Well, if you keep buying the case, yeah, hopefully
she's gonna be helping along in her own way.
And hey, it's appreciated.
Yeah, she's supporting all the industry. I should preface this. She's gonna listen to this and be like, "You make it sound like she has one glass. That's one glass a night. It's
one glass an hour is fine.
That's not going to keep the industry going, but she's doing her part.
Every little helps.
Every little bit helps."
All right, Ray. Well, thank you so much for coming on and speaking with us. Obviously, it's a personal time of transition for you, and we will gladly let everybody know, all 16 people that listen to this, when you do decide on what you're going to do, let us know, and we'll let people know. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Ray.
All right, take care, y'all.
That was fantastic. Thanks, Ray.
See ya.
Cheers, bye.
I typed into the spreadsheet. I was like, I could talk to him for 3 hours. I had
So
many
easy.
more questions. I was like, what about this? What about this? What about craft
Yeah.
producers? What about this? And I was like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the first time we had him on Lost in Translation, it was the same thing. We just like talked to him, and it was like 3 hours of conversation.
I think I
was like,
remember.
oh fuck, oh boy.
Yeah.
He was probably like, oh, that's it? Hour and a half? That's nothing for you guys.
It's the thing is though, when he went on when he would go off on a little rant, he talked for a while, but I was like invested in everything he was saying.
Oh yeah.
Right? I'm like, this is all fascinating. Like,
well, I wanted to, after he gave his spiel on the tariffs, which I thought was a very well-reasoned, extremely well-spoken sort of answer on and I'm sure he's been talking about this for a long time already, but I kind of just wanted to take a minute and just go to each of you and then myself and just kind of follow up on it and say like, okay, well, what's your thought on it? Because we all have our own opinions. And after hearing him talk about it, I really wanted to talk about like, what about all the importers that just carry American products in Ontario or in Alberta when it was lost in other provinces? Like he was talking about each level of the industry that's affected, and it's kind of what he said, where it's like, yeah, like you're sending a message, but are you really, like, is it changing the way that Donald Trump is approaching the tariff negotiations? Probably not. Yeah. I really don't think it is. And then how many people are getting hurt by it? And it kind of changes your view of it a little bit.
Totally.
But at the same time, you could look at the other side and be like, no, it's definitely being felt by them. And these bourbon producers are 100% sending messages to their congressman, their whatever, their senator, their all of the things. I don't know all the terms down there. I don't follow it super close, but I guarantee you they're getting letters from these producers that are saying this is fucking hurting us. And
I remember seeing one, and it was from like the Kentucky Bourbon Distillers Association,
there you
whatever
go.
the big group was, and it was like it was within the first 6 months that was like, this is having a huge negative impact to our industry.
Oh yeah, like we not joked, but talked about the Doug Ford situation with the Crown Royal plant and the 200 jobs. This is affecting thousands and thousands of people. And like,
totally.
So I kind of appreciate the way how he acknowledged that it was almost a necessary move, but that the effects of it, is it really worth what's, and I don't even know where I stand on it. It's such a confusing, hard topic.
And I think he even alluded to that, right? Like he said in some ways it's like we're holding our middle finger up to someone who's probably not even looking.
That was the one that caught me, and that was where I kind of was like, are we just like getting all mad, but we're really not getting mad at anyone because they're. But that's where I bring up like the Kentucky Distillers Association sending an email or a letter, an email or whatever. They tweeted the president. I don't know, MySpace them. But,
Truth Social.
Yeah, they Truth Social them, but you gotta think people around him are saying, hey, no, like this is, but I think this is such a one-off, weird, once in a lifetime presidency that I don't think there's a way any of us can predict or even comment on how it's supposed to go, because I think it's so fucking weird that I don't think anyone knows, and it's almost fruitless talking about it. Because
like I even think like his inner circle doesn't know.
This is what I'm saying, Sean. Yeah. So there, his inner circle gets an email, a letter from the Kentucky Distillers Association, and they're like, Mr. President, we have this, and they're just like, we can't even talk to him about this stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Same thing with the Iran war. Like the highest levels of the Republican Party that are in power with him were all against it, and he just did it as a big fuck you because he wanted to. Like that's the type of person that has his finger on nuclear weapons. And
no, I know we don't. But we don't need to go down that road.
But like, it kind of when Ray was talking, and I was like kind of repeating it back. I was like, yeah, like I haven't bought a single bottle of bourbon, but it's not because I'm mad at bourbon producers. And it kind of made me think, like, is it really fruitful to do this?
Yeah.
I've said it for a long time. You not buying bourbon is not even affecting Jeremy and I. It's not affecting.
No.
Nobody in the world notices because you buy less bourbon than.
Yeah, exactly. I went from
If Lisa stops buying bourbon, Trump might have a press conference.
I went from on average 2 or 3 bottles a year to 0. So
Yeah. That was super interesting though when he was saying, he was like, Canada with bourbon was right on the verge of becoming a mature market for the product.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he's like, we are not that for like Scotch and Irish. We're a small market for them. And he's like, but with bourbon, we were right there. And then it just
that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And actually kind of you're like, well,
yeah, totally.
we were like
We were
this
so close.
And like, yeah. Anyways, we should go pee.
Yeah, let's pee and then let's drink some whiskey.
And then we can kind of recap all the bourbon stuff after we pull the bung and everything.
Sounds good. Okay, let's pee. All right, we're back. So we got some, Sean dug up some happy hour headlines, even though we only recorded 9 days ago.
Yeah.
But he found some new ones.
it was basically yesterday.
It's May 7th. This episode airs June 1st. So much shit's gonna happen.
So much is gonna happen between now and then.
People are gonna be like, oh, that's old news. There's gonna be like the world's greatest scotch comes out, and it's not gonna be on this episode.
It'll be July 1st by the time we talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Bourbon, the whole bourbon industry shut down. Done. Shit, we missed it.
Our kits turn into high demand because
because they have 3 little ounces of bourbon. The Last Call Whiskey podcast kits are now $4,000. Sold.
Ray is just beaming. She's like, yes, this
is the best ever.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight. Heroin, sex, machine guns, flamethrowers, murder. There's no story here. We've just found that ratings go up when we say those words.
Well, speaking of bourbon, the first happy hour headline is there's now a 30-year-old Eagle Rare that was released.
A 30-year-old?
I thought it was a joke when I saw it, and then I kind of looked it up more, and yeah, it seems to be legit.
Can I say something about old bourbons quickly?
They taste like wood.
It's, like, okay, I had a cool opportunity to taste through, I think it was like 5 Pappies. Okay.
I think we've all done this tasting where you do all of them in a row. I think we've all done it. But
right?
Keep going. Yeah.
So I think it was Brisbois that sent them to me. So I tasted through them. Honestly, the older they got, the less I liked them.
100% agreed.
So the 10 was my favorite of them. I was like, the 10 is like, to me, I'm like, it's by far the best.
I think I picked the 12 out as my favorite.
The 10, the 12's good too. Like,
yeah, the 10 and
the new oak just takes over, and
yeah,
I think most people I talked to that were able to do that lineup agreed. So, do you want to guess how much the Eagle Rare 30 is going to cost?
Okay, Eagle Rare regular 10-year is about $80 in Canada, in Alberta. Yeah. The 17-year, the double rare, is I want to say $1,200-ish, if you can even find it. Okay. So I'm going to go 12,000.
Okay, Jer.
12,000? No, I'm going to say I'm going to take the under on the 12,000.
Okay.
I'm going to say let's go 8.9 thousand.
12,500.
Shut the fuck up.
And that's from
Sean looked that up before.
That's That's from the spirits business, though. So I think that's US.
Oh, so
Okay.
It's probably more like 15. Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah.
That's
Who do they think they are? Cologne.
Cologne. It's every time. It's funny every single time.
And a Cologne 30 would be worth 12.5, but I digress. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the 30 minus the 0 on the H.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this, Sean? I didn't write any of these down. The Lakes Distillery in England closes. Oh, they closed their tour visitor center.
Yeah, and I guess when I saw that, like, don't know much about Lakes Distillery. I think I've tried one of their whiskeys, but it was like 3/4 of the staff got laid off because they work in the tours and visitor center.
I reached out to them early PWS days because I was like, this is a really cool distillery. A lot of cool stuff that they're doing. But actually, I've thought about this after listening to our last episode. We say cool a lot.
Well, we're cool.
There's lots of cool things.
I just say cool 3 times. They're a cool distillery doing lots of cool things. But typically these newer distilleries, visitor centers are like a big part of, like we talked to Rob there and talking about the visitor center for Holyrood and how it like got shut down during COVID, and that was a big thing. So them shutting this down, I've got to think is a pretty big deal. I got to interject here. Driving to my kids' hockey today, I was at a red light, so I took out my camera. There was a picture of a store, and it was Holly, but with 2 L's. So remember, it was the Holyrood conversation?
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw Hollyburn Towers, but 2 L's.
Yeah, but that's the English version.
I'm just saying, if I see that, that's Holly.
Yeah.
If I see one, I think Holy. I took a picture to show you guys. That's Holly. That's what Holly looks like.
I believe
I'm with you on that.
Now, I'm no entomologist or whatever the hell a person who studies languages. I'm not a proctologist, but I think when HOLY is part of a word, it becomes Holly, and when it's separated, like Holy Wars or Holy Shit, like that's Holy. But I think
Holyrood Distillery is one word.
Yeah, so it becomes Holly.
Interesting.
No, but it's 1 L.
That's what I mean. So
if it's Holly or Holy, doesn't matter. If it's one word, it's just Holly.
I believe so. In Scotland. Not in England, because clearly England they add the extra L.
Sean, maybe you are an entomologist.
Yeah. We need to get a proctologist on to break this down for us and really explain the verbiage. Verbiage. The verbiage. It's a good thing. It's a good thing we're not all oncologists. Yeah. We'd be really fucking this up. Okay.
All right. Going on. Okay. So again, we did record 16 hours ago. So hard to find some new news. Alan Hislop was named the new Glenallachie distillery manager. Just came across my feed one day and I thought, hey, that's interesting.
It also keeps our streak alive of pumping James Bourne's fucking brand's tires every single episode.
Every single one. Yeah.
Don't worry. The new releases will get there as well.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
The other thing that I noticed is that the last kind of new headlines is King Charles just visited the States and something happened with Trump and him and they shook hands, and now the tariffs to the UK and to the EU are different. So in terms of Irish whiskey, you actually have a single category of products that are being tariffed differently. So anything made in Northern Ireland is being tariffed less than in the Republic, which is wild. Yeah, it's nuts.
Cool story, Hansel.
Yeah. So anyways, new releases.
New
Speaking of
releases.
James Bourne,
Okay, you say it first, but I have kind of a funny story right after you talk about this one.
Okay, so the Spirits of Scotland have landed. They are now being sold at various locations, and there's way more SKUs than I thought when they first came out. But that includes the first sighting of the 58-year-old North British Dark Cloud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I have it on inside intel that anybody that pre-ordered at our tasting, that they should be available within the week to pick up and to buy.
This is where I got to interject.
Okay.
I get an email to pay for my bottle. Not cheap, but worth it for what it is. Actually, very worth it. I pay for my bottle. I go to said store today. They're not a sponsor yet. They maybe should be, but they're not a sponsor yet. So neither is James fucking Bourne, though. So I go to the store. I'm going to this store to pick up an order for our hockey organization banquet. My kids, I'm in charge of buying all the booze. I'm the booze guy, obviously. But I also get an email that says your Sean Kincaid Dark Cloud 60 whatever year old grain whiskey is ready for pickup. And I'm like, this is awesome. We're recording the podcast tonight. I'm picking up the other stuff. I'm doing it all in one shot. I go to the store. We start loading up the flats. I got like 30 flats of beer and coolers and stuff for this party. I go back in. I didn't immediately take off. Keep in mind, my dog is in the car, so I have that in the back of my mind. It's 20 degrees out. He can't be in there for very long. I go back inside. I go to the beer cooler. I always try and pick up my wife some hazy IPAs when I'm at it was Keg and Cork. It was Keg and Cork. They don't sponsor the show, but it was Keg and Cork. I go in the beer cooler. I'm loading up on beers. Throw those in the van. I get an hour away from the store and I get an email. I can't believe you forgot your Dark Cloud single.
Oh.
And I was fucking so mad at myself. I was sad. I could have held it. I would have had it right here. I could have cracked the thing on that podcast tonight. That's how perfect it would have been. And I apologize to you, Sean, for this.
That's okay. I got to go pick mine up tomorrow or the next day. Well, I'm in Red Deer all weekend, but probably Monday I'll be swinging by. I can grab yours if you want.
No, I'm getting my own.
All right.
I'm getting my own.
I'm going to go back to Keg Cork liquor.
It's the principle of it. Yeah.
So
right.
Funny enough, I if we weren't recording tonight, I would have been at SMWS monthly tasting. So as we were wrapping up with Ray, I was actually purchasing an SMWS bottle from this month's outturn.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
There was some killer ones this way. All right. Oh. Do you want to take the next one, Trav?
Yeah. Aberargi has landed. We talked about lots in the last episode. We interviewed Neil Hendricks. The timing couldn't have worked out better. Literally the week after we had Neil on, and obviously when it went to air, the bottles became available. We brought in 80 cases for Alberta.
Wow.
One broke, so we actually had 79. I had to go pick up the broken case and pay for it.
Oh, that's where my bottles are coming from. That's right.
Yeah, they're right here. I might just drink them all myself. Bearded Dave gets maybe one, but I'm drinking the other 5.
He gets one of the broken ones.
He gets the broken bottle. Yeah. So they're rolling out on shelves. Well, this airs June 1st. They're going to be sold out across the country. That's my thought. But we got 80 cases on like Monday of this week. Today's Thursday. They're all gone. They're allocated to stores.
That's awesome.
So our strategy of like not going over the top worked, but 80 cases for us of one product is crazy for PWS. I don't know if we've ever done 80 cases of a single product in the history of our company.
So
no, and they're all gone.
Like you said, 4 days later, and they're all
gone. I mean, when I say 4 days later, I've been fucking selling the shit out of this stuff for months.
Right. Yeah.
I've been grinding over here. telling the tales and everything. So it was all like you have a list and whatever, but they're going out to stores and you're going to see them popping up on websites and everything. And now it's like go buy them and go put a ball. Go buy two. You put one, you tuck it away, and you tell your friends it's a piece of Scotch whiskey history. And then you buy one and you just crush it.
Yeah. And it's crushable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. This next one, just a quick hitter.
This is a fun one.
So whoever represents Royal Brackla Distillery, I think they also handle Altmore and Craigellachie, possibly. All of a sudden, their products just showed up at a bunch of stores on like huge discounts. So you could pick up the Royal Brackla 25-year-old at under $200.
Yeah.
Which a 25-year-old single malt Scotch for under $200 is insane. Now, I will preface this that in a group chat where these said bottles were being discussed and bought, I did convince somebody that Aberargi is better than Royal Brackla 25.
Yeah.
And he ended up buying one Brackla and two Aberargi.
And two Aberargi. Yeah.
It's very true. I've never had Royal Brackla 25, but I was like,
Either.
I don't know if I'm going to try and tell someone not to buy a 25-year-old single malt.
Now, I was very clear in this chat. I have tried the core range up to the 25. Royal Brackla does not do it for me. Indie bottle OB releases, I don't agree with their distillate for whatever reason. I've had bourbon, I've had sherry, I've had PX. It just, something about it just doesn't mesh well. And
it's not a super sexy. It's not a super sexy distillery, even with the royal preface or whatever you want to call it.
No, and I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, I remember stopping by a few stores and the 16-year-old, which is like their base bottle, it was like $200. And at that time I was like, no, that's not. But now you're getting the 25-year for under $200.
I think I if I would have seen it earlier, I think I would have bought one. And that's just a bottle. I'm trying to get a bottle from every distillery in Scotland. I don't have a Brackla, so I probably would just tuck that away and then just pour it for someone that. And just be like, look at this. It's 25 years old.
25 years old.
And I would not show them what I paid. I would show them what it costs.
Yeah.
Probably in like LCBO. I'd be like, this thing's 13 grand. You can get an Eagle Rare 30 or a Royal Brackla.
Or a Royal Brackla 25.
You are getting this in my house.
Hey, the Royal Brackla has the royal seal of the scent or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. It's that whole part's kind of cool, but I don't think you can say no to a 25-year-old single malt for under $200.
No,
that's
just
insane.
You just buy it
crazy.
and you just whatever. It's not gonna.
Well, Trav, you're in that same group. People like constantly were like, "Is this real? Did you leave off at zero?"
Well, other stores are following. It's sort of like when the Bowmore 22 Aston Martin went on clearance because Aston Martin went to Glenfiddich. Is they just clearance priced it right now.
Yep.
I try doing this all the time with our bottles. It doesn't work the same. It's not blowing up the internet when I cut the price of a 2-stack single grain.
Yeah.
But Jeremy, you want to take the next one?
I do. Yeah. The new releases, we have the Glenmorangie Harrison Ford, and it's just called that, right?
Yeah. That's kind of why I added WTF after, like, it's just the Harrison Ford.
Just the Harrison Ford.
Yeah. And they released it on May the 4th.
On May the 4th. That's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Is the Harrison Ford Glenmorangie, is it as cool as the Offerman editions?
It's Glenmorangie versus Lagavulin, so no.
Yeah, I just like the Offerman Laga combo. It was too good.
It felt because Offerman's a weird, funny duck, and it felt like a weird combo. And I kind of liked that Lagavulin chose him. Like if a really fancy distiller, like if Macallan did a release from like the dude that does I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah,
like that would be fucking unbelievable. So Offerman and Lagavulin was kind of a fun combination because he's kind of like sarcastically that guy, but not really. Whereas Harrison Ford is kind of that guy.
Yeah.
So
That's true. But with the Offerman, at the end of Parks and Rec, the TV show, does he not like purchase shares in Lagavulin?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I feel
I'm
like there's
pretty
something
sure-
in that storyline where he like becomes a part owner in the TV show. And then years after came to like release Offerman's series.
But like, I'm
Like
pretty
it.
sure he even said like that was his whiskey of choice, regardless if he had a partnership
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know if Harrison Ford's, buying the draft bottles and pouring them down. Like,
Did you see the last video with Harrison Ford that was released?
this is like the behind the scenes where he's
He
like,
just takes a sip and he's like, yeah, that's good. Like that was basically it. But he's wearing a kilt. It looks great. And it was May the 4th. So, here we go.
Kind of funny how Ray Daniel mentioned like how bourbon's not really doing it the same way as Scotch. And I was like, wasn't quite sure. But then when you think about it, like Scotch is like taking American actors to promote their brands.
yeah,
Whereas bourbon could pay those guys. Bourbon's got the money. Like Jim Beam could afford it.
yeah.
Anyways, I love it all. You know me, I love a good limited edition series. I buy them and then just pour them for a group down the road. So
Yeah, we all get to try them. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I get stuck with them on my shelf for 8 fucking years. Well, like the Glen Morangy Tales of whatever. I'm just like, what am I doing with these things? And everyone's like, they're not that good. I'm like, well, I got 8 of them now. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah, you can't stop now. You're committed.
Can't stop, won't stop. I'm collecting. So, Sean, what's this SMWS one? You know what? If you're going to keep doing SMWS, we might need them to sponsor us too.
we'll reach out to the owners. This just came out. I don't even know if it's out yet, but they're releasing a blend and it features whiskeys from all the Scotch regions. And it's the first time they've ever done anything like this and like branded it that way. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Hopefully we get to see it here in Canada, and yeah, I'll grab one if it does.
Cool. And what's the last one there?
There's 3 more.
Oh,
There's still 3 more. We gotta.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I haven't even heard of this series from Glenallachie.
Glenn, listen, if we're going to be pumping James Bourne's tires as much as we do, we need to maybe point out something that's kind of happening with Glenallachie right now. It's getting a little bit jumpy sharky-ish.
Jumpy sharky-ish.
It's when this series came out, I was like, we just did the Michel Toires. We got maybe it's not that many. Is it Michel Tour? It's the Glenallachie, and now it's the Sintes.
Well, the Sintes is just like an extension of like stuff that they were already doing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, James.
So every year they've released like a 3-part series. One was all sherry casks,
Right.
So this one is combining virgin oak with sherry casks. So the first one, 2014. So I'm a 12-year-old maybe. It was Chinkopin Virgin Oak and Pedro Jimenez. The second one is a year younger, and it's Scottish Virgin Oak, which is very cool, and Oloroso Sherry. And then the last one is a French Virgin Oak and an Oloroso Sherry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I thought it was pretty cool. It's something new. This one right here, Clowen, PWS brand. They released a new whiskey. It's 3 years old, 60.44%. First time they've ever fully matured a whiskey in Oloroso Sherry. That's cool. And they used one of Fionn, the historical mash bills. So I have the card flipped over already. So 4 parts unmalted barley, 6 malted barley, 2 unmalted oats, and 2 unmalted rye.
Cool.
Half wild, half domestic fermentation, all open top and all outdoor. And
Sick.
yeah, maturation, warm tub condensed, and 120 liter recouped Oloroso sherry cask. They don't know where it was from, but it even states it on the packaging. Cask arrived with 5 liters of Oloroso sherry inside, was emptied, then rinsed with 40-degree water to prevent overpowering.
Oh wow,
Cologne so fucking cool.
that's so intense with the details.
Like, I don't know if any other sherry cask whiskeys are going to say, yeah, we rinsed these with 40-degree water. They're not going to disclose, hey, we left 40 liters of sherry in this barrel and then added the whiskey to it.
We actually got rid of it for a reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think when they transfer those quarter casks, the bigger casks, they leave the sherry in, not because they're expecting the next user to leave the sherry in. I think it's just to keep it moist so those things.
Yeah. Totally.
So like they're leaving it in there, not with the expectation that I think that the next user just leaves it in with the whiskey, right?
Yeah.
No, actually,
And 120 liters, 5 liters of sherry would be a lot.
yeah.
Oh, totally.
Well, our good friend Gurpreet, he just got a big shipment of sherry casks a couple weeks ago, and he said some of the sherry that came out of it is gorgeous. And he said there was a lot of it in some of the barrels. So yeah,
That's
I don't know what this John Sleeman one is either, so you might as well hit us.
you're the one that put it in the chat.
I put the John Sleeman?
in the chat. Really?
So our good friend Whiskey Neighbor, he did a video on this. That's what Travis posted, and they released a coffee still whiskey, and then they also released a rye. So our friend John Whiskey Neighbor, if you go to his YouTube, he does a full video on the two of them. So
Cool.
And that's spelled coffee like Paul Coffee. It's not meant to taste like coffee.
Not.
yeah, no,
Dude,
it's EY, not EE.
No.
We okay. We'll leave it.
Okay. No. What are you going to say?
We can leave names and everything out of this. But there was a post on Instagram that had me nearly in tears talking about a coffee.
It was the Nika coffee.
It was the Nika coffee malt.
Grain.
Coffee grain.
Was it the grain?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the malt.
And coffee spelled with EY, referring to the still.
Yeah.
And
She was knocking, to be fair, she was like pretty heavily knocking the whiskey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say bashing, but she was like making some faces like a little bit condescending to the whiskey, for sure.
yeah. But
Looking for coffee notes.
Coffee EE.
Finding coffee notes.
Finding coffee notes. I was almost in tears. I was like, if this keeps showing up on my feed, I'll watch it every time.
I commented and I was very polite. I was like, I think the coffee is but I said the coffee is because of the stills. I sent you guys, and she was very good about it. She's like, oh, sometimes the power of suggestion, and I totally see it. Like if you see coffee, you're like, oh, I'm gonna, and there's, you know what? It was and the rest of her video was like, this whiskey doesn't really jump out to me, and that's all fair because that whiskey doesn't jump out to any of us.
Right.
You know what though?
As a great whiskey,
I will give her the benefit of not the benefit of the doubt for the coffee thing, but the fact that she's going out there and stating when something isn't agreeing with her.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Like, it's been a huge discussion in different forms like Substack and Instagram and stuff where people are saying like, are influencers worth it anymore when they're basically being paid to market something and they're not going to talk shit about it. So it's almost refreshing to see somebody in the whiskey industry giving an honest review.
Yeah.
Well, it's her back shelf series, right?
Yeah. stuff that she digs out from hidden behind other whiskeys.
From hidden behind other whiskeys. And I will say, like, the power of suggestion is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
Like if I set a dram down in front of each of you guys and I go, okay, just think about Nanaimo bars while you sip this.
Yeah.
That will change your experience. It will, because you'll start looking for Nanaimo bar in it.
Trav totally got me one of the first times I ever met him. He put crushed up crunchy bar in front of a dram that tasted like crunchy bar.
Yeah.
And then I did the same
taste
thing.
like crunchy bar.
Dude, I did the same thing last year at the VIP event. I presented that whiskey and I gave every single person in the room a full-size crunchy bar and said, yeah,
And
try it.
if I put a bottle of whiskey with a samurai sword on it in front of you, you just know it's going to be delicious.
It's going to be amazing.
That's the power of suggestion that we're talking about, right?
I'll harikari that whiskey right into my guts.
And we do bash. We don't. We don't bash whiskeys on this podcast, but I would say we've been pretty honest.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we've been pretty good.
Yeah.
Listen, like, as somebody who
Abercrombie's the best whiskey we've ever tasted on this show.
exactly, like, as somebody who does get sent whiskey, and I will say straight up, if I don't like it, I either won't post it or I'll be honest. And if they still want me to review it, cool. But I'm not going to compromise my own integrity for a free bottle of whiskey.
Totally. I've had brands pull back from sending me something when I give them that spiel.
Yeah, totally.
And they just kind of go, oh, never mind.
I'm
like, fair enough.
I have no problems with her knocking that whiskey at all.
No, not at all.
No. Should we pull the bong?
I cannot wait to drink these whiskeys with you guys. Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about some whiskey. Okay, we're doing 3 bourbons. I didn't know what these were. Oh, I forgot. We did discuss them. Ray poured them and then went away. Ray went away.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if she's ever coming back, to be honest.
She may never come back.
She might not come back.
If she doesn't come back, I don't know what we do for whiskey on this podcast, but we'll figure it out. We review Guinness every episode. What do you got? I got Guinness. I got Guinness.
And my second pint tastes the exact same as the first pint.
We'll do our own makeshift like VIP, and we'll find each type of Guinness that's available here. We'll try them.
Yeah.
I got the extra stout tonight.
This Guinness Zero tastes just like Guinness, but I'm not getting drunk.
So we're gonna do Jerry, you introduced the whiskeys because you kind of introduced them at the beginning too.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the Bardstown Origin Series, move on to Buzzards Roost, Bottled in Bond, and then we're going to end with the J. Henry & Sons La Flamme release, which is an Armagnac finish. And I will say, like, we typically, if we have the time to, we try to at least have a nip of these whiskeys before we jump onto the podcast at some point.
Blind.
What's that?
Blind, if possible.
Blind, if possible.
Yeah.
Just so that we know kind of what we're getting into. And I will say, after not having had bourbon in a hot minute, I actually had a hell of a good time doing that yesterday. I was like, this is fun.
Not all bourbon tastes the same either. These are 3 very different bourbons.
Yeah,
totally.
Which I wanted to ask Ray Daniel at some point, why does all bourbon taste the same? But we couldn't get there. We could have talked for 4 hours to the guy.
Yeah.
But I thought that would have been a very good question to ask. But after sniffing these, they don't all taste the same. So, Sean, Bardstown, what's the deal with that distillery?
Well, let me tell you.
It's a cool distillery. It's actually a very cool distillery.
Yeah, so founded in 2014, they are a Kentucky distillery, owned by a private capital investment firm, Pritzker Private Capital, and they acquired the majority stake in March 2022 from the founders of the distillery. Family-led investment firm, so still fairly small, keeping it in the family. And then, yeah, they also are known for founding the Hyatt Hotels Corporation.
There's money here.
Yeah. So their capacity, little craft distillery here, 68 million liters.
Yeah, they're not craft.
No. They have a modern 100-acre whiskey campus that quickly became a cornerstone of the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky since it was founded in 2014. So
I want to go there.
Yeah.
That would
I think
be
it would
cool.
be very cool. After researching this place, I want to go there.
Yeah, totally. Unlike many historic distilleries, the focus is on a single family legacy and it's collaborative distilling hub. They are basically like, we'll talk about MGP a little bit later, but they're basically like
MGP Light.
Yeah, they're like a competitor to MGP where they produce and other companies source. So they've been the source for over 30 different brands while simultaneously also releasing their own whiskeys as well. It's considered the most technically advanced distilleries in the entire US. High-tech automation to manage hundreds of different mash bills for various clients, maintaining
hundreds of different mash bills.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like the running joke is that when you source from MGP, you get like one mash bill that everybody gets.
Yeah.
So
and the part that I like at the end there, maintaining a level of precision that traditional manual distilleries cannot match because they're so friggin' scientific with everything they do that they can maintain these mash bills like to a T, which is crazy to me.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So this specific whiskey, if I can find it, is aged for 6 years exclusively in new charred American oak barrels. The char level. So they experiment with different chars. Obviously, they experiment with everything. But the bottle and bond that we're tasting is a standard char number 4, otherwise known as alligator char. So heavily charred. And that's on the staves, and then char number 2 on the barrel heads. 50% ABV, 100 proof, and the mash bill is 68 corn, 20 wheat, and 12% malted barley. So
that's I actually think that it's cool that they think the char, well, not that they think, they know the char makes that much of a difference, that a 2 char on the barrel heads and a 4 char on the rest of the barrel makes enough of a difference that it's worth going through that whole process.
Totally.
Yeah. So super cool, nerdy kind of distillery, sourcing for other brands and making their own stuff. I've always heard and like seen this brand, but this literally was the first time I've ever tasted it. I'm pretty sure.
Kind of an inside story here, but I actually once reached out to Bardstown Bourbon about bringing them into Alberta, and they never got back to me.
Fun fact.
They're probably like, I don't know if you looked us up, but we have 68 million liter capacity, and you move about 8 liters a year.
That's almost 9 liters. That's pretty
not enough. It's not enough.
There's a note here. Bardstown Origin Series is a collection of 3 6-year-old Kentucky straight whiskeys, marking the first products fully distilled, aged, and bottled in-house by Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yeah, that's cool.
Super cool. Okay, have you guys all had a sip of this? Because I really want to talk about it. Because my quick consensus on this is I really fucking like this.
Yeah. You know what's weird? My initial non-blind tasting was like within an hour of us going live. It already tastes different in the glass.
Yeah. In
a good way. Like it's opened up and it's
this thing just carries a character that of bourbons I've tried. They don't really hit this level. Like I get almost like an apricot kind of on it, like baked fruits. It is too. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, my initial nose was, I said apple crisp with caramel sauce and vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
This is like so I blind tasted these with my bourbon loving wife while watching Breaking Bad last night or the night before, 2 nights ago, because I worked 2 night shifts. And both of us really enjoyed this one. And she said, this to me just tastes like what bourbon to me. This tastes like bourbon, but like elevated. So this is like, when I say bourbon, like for us, the typical go-to for, she'll just buy like a bottle of Buffalo Trace, a Wild Turkey 101, but this is like an elevated bourbon experience, but still has all those core bourbon
Totally.
flavors. There's no cask experimentation, craziness. It's just bourbon.
Yeah. I agree. Totally. It does have a little bit of creaminess in it, like oiliness. It's got a good mouthfeel. 50%, I think, is perfect for it.
I think so too.
There's spice, but it doesn't hit it initially. It kind of opens with that, stone fruit creaminess, and then the spice just builds and builds and builds.
Short finish, would you say?
Fairly short.
Like medium short?
Yeah.
It says in the producer tasting notes, an alluring and enduring finish. They don't use the word long, but I would agree. I would argue enduring maybe. I don't feel like it's a long finish. Alluring maybe though.
Yeah.
Baked peach with cream meets cocoa with hints of lemon. You guys mentioned baked fruits. I think Jared did.
Yeah.
A mouthfeel of stone fruit. You said apricot and toffee leads to that finish. When I did the 3 the other night, this to me was the most. This just is like a bourbon that I would just go to regularly. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. You just want to stop saying it, but it just tastes like bourbon, but good bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Lisa nailed it. It's bourbon, but a bit of an elevated experience with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good. I like it.
Yeah, it is good.
There's for 50%, like you can tell, like there's a tingle there, but it's not hot.
No,
not at all.
Like no water in this. I always wonder what kind of glass to drink bourbon out of. Glencairn kind of feels weird. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Usually I have it with a little bit of ice, to be completely honest, when I'm drinking bourbon, but not for tonight, obviously. But I don't know. It just feels weird drinking bourbon out of a Glencairn to me sometimes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think they do use Glencairns in
The distilleries and stuff?
I think so.
It's a whiskey glass. It's not a Scotch glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's meant to bring the flavors to it. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, there was one more thing I added about the series. So the Bardstown's obviously making whiskey for like 30 other companies, hundreds of mash bills. But their own series, they have a few different ones. So they have the Origin series. That's what we're doing. 100% estate distilled whiskey, high rye bourbon, the wheated bourbon, the rye whiskey. Then they have a Discovery series. These are elite blends. Bardstown's blending team sources rare aged whiskeys from across the country and artfully marries them to create something greater than the sum of its parts. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Fusion series, which is a blend of their own young estate distilled bourbon with older sourced Kentucky bourbon. That's cool. That's like Amroot fusion in a way. And Collaborative series, which is a playground for finishing. They partner with world-class producers from Foursquare Rum and some wine cellars to some beer brewing places to finish bourbon in unique secondary casks. So like very particular 4 lines, all very cool in their own way. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Guys, I'm a Bardstown fan.
I wonder how many of these we get here.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Ray Daniel did say we were about to be
I know.
a bourbon fucking
mature market. Yeah.
And we lost it because of Doug fucking Ford.
And the Orange Goblin.
No, Doug Ford. Just Doug Ford. And Doug Ford can come on this podcast and defend himself if he wants. But he ruined Bardstown bourbon in Canada.
He's busy trying to sell his private jet.
You can't sell a jet in this economy. All right. We like that bourbon.
Very much so.
Let's move to number 2.
Buzzards Roost.
Because it's well, yeah, let's talk about Buzzards Roost. We had a bit of a special connection with this brand, Sean.
Yeah, the importer into Alberta is a buddy of ours.
Mr. Chalafou?
Yeah, Mr. Chalafou and his wife. I remember
what's their agency called again? I'm gonna forget it.
Oh God, don't put me
He's
on.
gonna yell at me. Oh my God, we're doing it. Ask ChatGPT right now.
We'll chat.
We got this.
He'll find it. Sean will find it.
Sean, keep going. I got it. No. Sean, don't mute yourself. You talk about Buzzards Roost. I'll find it.
He's looking right.
AI sucks. They can't even get it right.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Anyways, we have a personal connection to the people that bring him into. It says that I asked Google Gemini. It says in Alberta, Buzzards Roost sipping whiskeys are imported and represented by PWS Imports. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Screenshot that. Screenshot it.
That is incredible. I never claimed that. I'm going to send it to Mark Chalafou. Is it Mark or Rob? Fuck, I haven't seen him in ages.
Rob.
Jesus. Sorry, he's not one of the listeners. I guarantee he's not listening, but I haven't seen him in such a long time. I feel bad. He used to be a amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I remember the first time he came over to Steve's basement and like he just like started stacking stuff on the table. He's like, "This is a $400 tequila. You've never tried anything like this." We're like, "Okay, let's do it." But he's also he's donated a ton of stuff to charity events that we've had over the years. So great guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can you talk about Drink Sync?
Yeah, Drink Sync. I just found it.
Drink Sync.
Okay, Buzzards Roost started in 2019. Another Kentucky brand. So we have 2 Kentucky brands so far. Independently owned.
Wait. I thought you can only make bourbon if it's in Kentucky. Oh no, that's right. It can be anywhere in the U.S. Yeah, sorry.
Are you being sarcastic?
R.
Yes.
This is a hard one. It says, let's talk about capacity after. They're a Louisville, Kentucky-based brand that has carved out a niche in the whiskey world by focusing on the art of the finish. Finishing bourbons has not been like a super huge thing until quite recently. So
some people are still like adamantly against it.
You can't do it. It's just new American oak and that's it. New charred American oak. Unlike traditional heritage distilleries that prioritize their own mash bills, Buzzards Roost is built on the philosophy that the barrel is the most important ingredient in the whiskey making process. I bet they get some pushback on that.
Yeah.
But if you look at the percentages, it is the most important part. But anyways, they operate as an NDP and non-distilling producer, but they have expanded their physical footprint recently. So they get most of their stuff from NGP in Indiana, and then they secondary mature it. But recently, Buzzards Roost has transitioned to producing their own bourbon. While they built their reputation by sourcing from MGP, they are now distilling at on Whiskey Row in Louisville, basically, and they've been making whiskey as early as 2025. So they are now like a lot of these independent bottlers in Scotland, right? Like Aberargie with the Morrison family and Ardnahoe. They independent bottlers often end up becoming distillers. So there we go. It says 50 to 70,000 liter capacity. I think that's at the new distillery. I believe I looked it up. And it's like very small, but I think that's what it was. So they're The new distillery is going to be very small. I think they're still mostly going to be a sourcing company. But I remember when this stuff came into the market, it was a lot of people were very impressed with it.
One of my favorite bourbons ever is from Buzzards, and it's no longer allowed to be made. It was the cigar, or I think it's a rye, cigar rye.
Oh yeah,
and it's like they literally, like, what is it? They burned cigar tobacco, to season the barrels, I guess. And
It was awesome.
I still have a full bottle that I will not open for a long time because it's so good. But yeah, it was one of the coolest ones. And then the FDA, I think, came in and said, you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Brutal.
interesting.
Yeah.
FDA is always ruining people's fun.
Yeah.
If we want to put tobacco in our products we're drinking, like, just let us.
Can we
Exactly.
Can we point out quickly that the order of the whiskeys tonight, basically, I just wrote them down in the order I pulled them out of the box, and then we just decided to roll with it because, as somewhat inexperienced bourbon people, we didn't really know how to pick an order for this lineup, so we just rolled with whatever I put on the sheet. So, just it's kind of interesting. We have no idea why this order is what it is.
It's
Right.
well, I mean, like, the ABV is the first two are the exact same. So
Yeah, it does go up.
but the ABV is close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Goes
I
up
think-
to the last one, and then we finish with the Armagnac finish,
which
So
is kind of because the other two are just straight.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with the order.
Well, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying there was no thought. It was just whatever we wrote down is the way we're drinking them.
Right.
There was no thought behind the order tonight, is what I'm saying.
All right. So Buzzards Roost, aged in char number 1 barrels and bonded warehouse for 5 years. The mash bill from NGP is 51 corn, 45 wheat, and 4% malted barley. So that is probably as high as a wheat as you're going to see in a mash bill.
Very, very weedy.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a fun one.
What would you say wheat? I typically think of wheat in bourbon as like softening the bourbon.
Soften gives it a sweeter profile. I
Sweet
find.
profile, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like sweetness on top of the corn sweetness, like wheat brings
Yeah,
more
it's-
wheat and sweet.
Yeah. I find any weeders that I've had or liked it's usually because it has a bit of a sweeter profile to it. Also, I think I've heard, I don't know if I can find it, but people say weeders have like a dustier note to them.
Okay. I will say, when we were drinking this one last night, no, sorry, I worked last night, 3 nights ago. Both of us had the same sort of feeling. It was like, we really like it, but it just felt a little bit like there's something that's not completely, just a touch, just disjointed, if that makes it. Like, it didn't feel like completely harmonized, maybe like the Bardstown did. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. I think, like,
Harmonized? I don't know if that's
It's-
the right word.
so this one, same ABV as the last one, drinks a little bit like hotter and spicier.
It's a bottle and bond. It's this. Are they
Okay.
both? Are they both labeled? Yeah, they're both bottle and bonds. So yeah, they're both 50s. Yeah. Sorry to
50.
interrupt there.
Like, to me, when I drink this, I'm like, this to me is like a bourbon. Like, when I went through them yesterday, I felt the same. To me, this is a bourbon through and through, where the Bardstown feels like a bit nuanced. It's like, I don't know what the right word for it is. It feels more delicate than this,
Yeah, delicate might be a good word.
right? For the same ABV, it's just like, it's a very unique experience to this one. Like, I think most people that like bourbon would sit down and love this, right? It's
I
like,
think I agree.
right? It's like,
That was exactly my notes. I said the nose, typical bourbon nose, cinnamon, caramel, a little bit of sweetness. Palate, cinnamon, baked bread, touch of honey, caramel. It's definitely spicier. Maybe that's where Trav, you find like the disjointedness is like in that extra spice level. And then I just said, it's like, this is what I consider a typical bourbon. If somebody asked me what bourbon tastes like, I would give them this. Like,
even though the wheat is so much higher than typical bourbon.
It's high wheat, but I mean, I don't know. It works in this, man. To me, it's just, man, this is a bourbon through and through. That one, if somebody was like a bourbon lover and you pulled out the Bardstown for them and you were like, try this, they would be like, what the, like, this is different. Like what's going on? But I love that one.
Yeah. And this one, like I said, we didn't even put the prices in the black them out. We just didn't even put the prices into the chat.
I don't know the prices.
I don't know the prices of any of them. I'm excited for the buy not buy. I know. We'll wait.
Sean was looking. Nope.
No. I was scrolling over to make sure that there was no prices in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no prices.
But this is I think I like this better than last night. I poured them and sipped them immediately out of the sample bottles. They've been out for a few hours today.
I like it more today.
I'm liking it a lot more today than I did yesterday.
There's something about drinking on the podcast. We just like whiskeys more than drinking by ourselves. Drinking by yourself is not as fun.
No.
It's this again. It'll be interesting to see once we start talking about price points, because we talked about it with Ray Daniel, and we talked about the $40 bottle, the $80 bottle, the $100 bottle, and then he kind of talked about that $100 price point. So I'm curious to see where they all these sit, and I'm saving some bourbon to go back to once I see the prices to say, can I justify? I'm guessing these are all around 100-ish. That's my guess, but I'm kind of curious to see. So
yeah, I've been saving bits too.
So let's do should we do number 3 then?
J. Henry and Sons.
Let's do it. Sean, what do you know about this company? Because it's the weirdest of the 3, I think.
Definitely. So founded in 2008. They're located in the small village of Dane, Wisconsin, about 20 miles north of Madison, Wisconsin. Wait a sec. Bourbon can be made outside of Kentucky? So Joe and Jack Henry, they're brothers, third generation whiskey makers. They call themselves a seed to glass distillery. So everything they do is produced, grown on their farm. So in 2026, they actually expanded to include 3 rickhouses with a storage capacity of 10,000 barrels. But that site, there's no distilling on it. They just expanded to get space for barrels. Family.
Can I interlude here?
Yeah.
I just don't get the whole seed to glass distillery if they're not distilling. I was trying to figure that out while I was reading up on this.
They are distilling.
I just thought you said they weren't distilling.
No. On the site that they expanded to for the rickhouses, they're not doing any distilling on that site.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. My bad.
Yeah. The expansion was just for the storage.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. So, Seed to Glass Distillery in Wisconsin. The brand is renowned for utilizing specific heirloom grains grown on 75-year-old family farm to create a distinct Wisconsin straight bourbon profile. So, I've never tried Wisconsin bourbon before, but
me either.
We had Keg & Cork had a single barrel from a Wisconsin distillery years ago. Dave Woodley can reach out or something. There was a Keg & Cork had a Wisconsin bourbon single barrel.
What?
Yeah. I will find out what it is. You keep talking.
Yeah. You research. I'll keep talking. So they are the only producers in the world that are using a specific heirloom red corn that was developed at the University of Wisconsin in 1939. Their signature 4-grain mash bill also includes heirloom winter wheat, heirloom Spooner rye, and malted barley that is all grown on their farm. Their spirits are, that's super cool. their spirits are aged for a minimum of 5 years in a historic dairy barn that has now been converted into a rick house. And then they obviously have more rick houses that they just expanded to. The extreme temperature fluctuations in Wisconsin play a critical role in how the whiskey interacts with the wood. The whiskey is distilled exactly on the 45th parallel. It's distilled at the 45th parallel distillery in Wisconsin. So yeah, that is super cool. And then this specific whiskey, so it's the J. Henry and Sons La Flamme Reserve Armagnac finished bourbon. So it's made in small batches, slow aged in large barrels in a rustic barn. Uncontrolled temperature in the historic barn allows the Wisconsin weather to interact with the wood. Every autumn in Gascony, France, local farmers start the Armagnac distilling season with La Femme d'Armagnac celebration. This expression honors traditional French blending techniques and marries the flavors of the Armagnac region of France with Wisconsin straight bourbon. So the mash bill for this, 64% of that red heirloom corn that was developed in Wisconsin. 14% glacier winter wheat, 14% spooner rye, and 8% malted barley. They hand-pick 5-year-old barrels, blending using the French Armagnac process, and finished for 8 months in the Armagnac cask. 56.75 ABV, which is
Getting up there.
103.5 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of info.
Yeah.
There's
Super cool. Like super, super cool distillery.
It's like knowing that info, even like when I pulled this one out of the sample kit.
This sounds just like the last episode. Now that I know what they're doing,
except so like I was really rooting for this one.
I think we all were
when I pulled it out of the sample kit, and I tried it yesterday and it fell a bit flat for me in the lineup. Nosing it now, like, because they're doing cool things, like, man, the red heirloom corn, they grow everything on their own. All of that's awesome. But man, honestly, I'm just having a hard time with this one.
So I know exactly what you're saying. We talked about this before Trav joined, but like my notes nose, this one's weird and it doesn't nose like a bourbon at all.
No.
It almost reminds me of like a finished Scotch grain whiskey.
Yeah.
Which totally, looking
at that mash bill, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's for sure part of it. It actually reminds me of a single grain from the nose, reminds me of a single grain from Liberty Distilling in Vancouver, Granville Island in Vancouver.
Yeah. Does it smell? It smells a bit youthful to me. It smells young to me. Youngish.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe young-ish. I don't know if I like immediately go, oh, that smells young when I nose this. It smells a bit. There's like a bit of funk to it, but I would say not in like the best way.
Is it fair to say that it's very hard to finish bourbon?
Yeah, totally.
And I've seen this in all the other American brands we worked with over the years. The finished bourbons, I don't know if it's the strong flavors coming out of those heavily charred new American oak casks.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to find a way to make them meld. And I'm guessing usually you're doing it in too short of a time. So an example I will use is Single Cask Nation. When they finish casks, typically it's like 3 years. I'm guessing most of the finishes in the bourbon world are like quick finishes because bourbon's typically not that old anyways.
Totally.
So you're throwing it in and you're just like, take on some Armagnac. And this is just my synopsis. I don't know if this is accurate, but they're just like, here, get some Armagnac flavor, but it doesn't have enough time to really become a whiskey, a congruent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you're left with bourbon and Armagnac fighting for control of the overall experience. And what we're left with, I think, is like just a whiskey that feels just like it's we've all kind of agreed it just feels a little bit off.
Yeah, it feels
off might be a strong word, but
yeah, I don't know. It's like disjointed. Like if you compare this directly to the Bardstown at the beginning, that feels like a delicately nuanced piece of
perfectly blended at the distillery level,
right? And then you compare that to this one and you're like, it feels disjointed. You're a little bit like, what exactly is going on here? And it's a bit of a bummer because I had such I really wanted it to win.
Super cool brand.
Yeah.
Armagnac finish. It was like that Laws. You remember the Laws Whiskey House, the cognac one we brought in?
Yeah.
But that one, they did let it sit for like, because they had the Solar, almost like that giant cognac cask.
Yeah.
Just add whiskey and then they would just pull out a little bit at a time. So it actually had time to meld and become a whiskey. And I think what the biggest issue with finishing whiskeys in any industry, whether it's the Scotch whiskey, Canadian, bourbon, whatever it is if you try and rush that process, you end up with the original spirit battling with the finishing cask.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's the star of the show? And really there shouldn't be a star.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the star should be a final product that just tastes like a delicious whiskey. And this
totally. I agree.
This is where first fill finishes scare me sometimes if they're not done properly. And I don't know, this is where, like, if Inoka left the 5 liters of Oloroso in that cask, could really fuck up one of their whiskeys.
I was just going to say, like, I've been out there obviously fairly often, and I've tried stuff that's been in a finishing like wine cask or whatever for less than 6 months. And yeah, it's weird. It's not congruent. It's disjointed. But then you try that same cask 6 months later, and it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. And like, obviously, Gurpreet's gonna know, like, tasting it. Okay, try this now, but then remember this, and then come back. It's 6 months from now, and then try it, and you're like, holy shit, okay, I get it. Now, it doesn't always work. There's a stout cask out there that still is like, whoa, what the hell happened here?
No, and yeah.
But look at Boulder. Wasn't there one that they had that they like tried it after 2 or 3 years and it was just like, oh, this was a mistake. But then after 6 years, it was like, holy shit, this is really good.
Yeah. Well, everything in Colorado gets better at 6 years.
It's 6 years is the golden age in Colorado.
Yeah.
It really is. It's okay. I got a question. Do you guys have a bourbon finished in a cask that you loved?
Yeah, the Boulder Sherry.
Dude, that was my immediate answer. That one slaps. It was so good.
Boulder Sherry was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Laws Cognac.
Laws Cognac was good. You know, on the bourbon episode, I do think we need to mention, I think possibly my favorite bourbon of all time was the Laws PWS cask, the 4-grain.
That was really good. All my Laws PWS stuff's gone.
Like, I wish I had one of those in the bunker. I destroyed 2 of them. Like, destroyed 2 of them.
The whole Laws story was so good. The bottles are beautiful. Everything, and it's just, but like, we'll talk about it after. Like, $100 plus bourbon. It's a fucking tough.
It's a hard sell. Yeah,
really tough market. Yeah.
I still remember the time I went over to Trav's old house, And he's just like, "Oh, I got something for you. Here, take this." And it was literally like not even a heel. It was like 2 ounces of a Law's 4 grain, but that he'd had for a couple of years. And I got home and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then he's like, "Yeah, we're talking to them right now." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, they're like from Edmonton too." I'm like, "What? This is awesome." And then when that first 4 grain came, and then the PWS one came after, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is unreal."
Yeah.
And they're rye.
We could probably contact Laws and say, "Hey, I know things are tough for everyone right now. It's not, but I bet we could bring in a Laws cask right now and it would do very well, and just say, let's support these people from Alberta that are down in the States that have nothing to do with this guy and his decisions, and they're just trying to keep their fucking business afloat. And so are we. And let's bring in a cool bourbon that supports a bunch of really good people. And I bet it would do okay."
I bet it would.
Yeah. We should reach out to them. That's
a good idea. You should. I think
Even
that's
that
worth a
tasting,
reach out.
the tasting that we hosted in your basement with me, you, and Steve.
Yeah.
Like, they came on and they were awesome. Forget her name, but she's Mountain Time on Instagram, and she was awesome. Like, oh man, yeah. They were such cool people.
There's so many events I forget. Anyways, okay. Suck it up, everyone. Let's figure this out. Well, Laws Distillery, we're gonna reach out to you maybe.
We still love you. We still love you.
We still love you guys. We love those.
And Boulder. What?
And Boulders.
Except I don't even know if they exist anymore. Wait.
Chair. Jerry, just edit that part out later. Okay?
Hey, Ryan Nagley. We love you, Nagley.
Love you, Nagley. Man.
All right. Sean.
Yeah.
Can you give me prices of each whiskey?
Oh God.
I will type them in. Well, you should have I thought you were putting this in.
I'm on it. On it.
Bardstown, Ball and Bond, Origin Series. Give me a price. Let's just do Alberta, and Ontario and Quebec can figure it out if they want. Too much work.
You type that in, and only American. Oh, there we go. Got some Canadian ones.
Well, just go to the Whiskey Drop website. Okay. They have all these.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Whiskey Drop.
Because the Bardstown's first, and I think the price points of all of these are really going to be a big factor. You guys, anyone that says bourbon all tastes the same, I think this is a very good example.
It's a super good example. I'm dying to see the prices on these.
Yeah. Well, if Sean's dial-up modem.
No.
Okay.
I've already looked up the first one. You guys shut up.
If his dial-up modem.
What do you got?
He's just logging into AOL.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in one ear is just that weird fax noise.
What do you got?
Bardstown Bottle and Bond Kentucky Straight Bourbon Origin Series, $89.
Oh fuck.
89.
Oh fuck.
That's at drop, so that's like Canadian.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's Canadian dollars.
I'm not gonna comment yet, but oh shit.
You could probably, if you attend a tasting there, you can also get that for 10 to 15% off.
Okay.
All right.
Buzzards, Roost, Ball and Bond at Whiskey Drop.
They have lots of them. Ooh.
Oh boy.
$124.
It's not horrible. It's not horrible.
It's not horrible, but also
It's not $89.
Well, keep going.
Ooh, the J. Henry bottles are nice.
They look nice?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. We don't have the bottles. Can you show a picture on it? People
show a picture.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, those are sick.
Yeah.
$129.
Yeah, you're in that range.
129.
Okay, all right.
Now they have a Wisconsin straight bourbon whiskey, a single barrel, so not finished or anything. That's $100 on the dot.
Yeah, but that's not what we're drinking. So we can't talk about it.
We're drinking Armagnac.
Okay. I for me, number one, the must buy is it's not even close right now.
Not even close.
It's just
You are correct, sir.
It was my favorite to drink. Like both times I tried, price point is better than the other two. You buy that one.
I was in my mind thinking, if this Bardstown Ball and Bond bourbon is 140, where am I going to sit?
Totally.
89. I was like, Jesus, I'm going to go buy Lisa 4.
And they'll be gone next month. What?
Lisa, we got some more bourbon.
Ray said, buy by the case.
You got, yeah. So that's, I don't even think, so that to me is that we don't even have to talk about the must buy now.
No.
We're good there?
Yeah.
I don't know if I updated last episode's must buy list, but we'll worry about that later. Okay.
So
I don't even think
I did find a couple other places that have this in Alberta, and it's literally $80 to $90.
Yeah,
at every place. So
it's a must buy. It's that is, if you're going to be buying bourbon, which we talked about, some people aren't, and that's fine. But this is a must buy if you're going to buy bourbon.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a premium bourbon at a just sub premium price. I'd say to me the premium stuff's like 100 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I think this is the fucking easiest one we've ever done. It's
such a clear standout.
Yeah, if the next two aren't crazy price differences, then Buzzards Roost Ball and Bond is, you should probably buy as a tough. $124 for a bourbon that we just said tastes like a lot of other bourbons is really tough.
I agree.
Yeah.
You can probably find a $60 bourbon that
tastes kind of similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's worth 124.
I agree.
Is this our first ever must buy the kit? If you're a bourbon fan, it's a very, very, very nice bourbon. There's nothing knocking that Buzzards Ball and Bond bourbon. If you're a bourbon fan, buy a kit and you can try all three of them and pick your favorite.
Yeah.
I think doing it,
there'll be no Bardstown left because me and Lisa bought them all.
I think
save one for me.
The fact that you can get these in a kit and try all three, you're committing to way less money, and then you can form your own opinion. And there is going to be people that like all three of these, like each. There'll be people that will like each one separately.
Every episode we do, there's going to be ones that we say buy a kit and try it, and someone's going to try and be like, "No, this is right up my alley."
Yeah, totally. Totally.
And I would say last episode, the Nicnean, it was just the price point. We loved it.
Yeah.
But someone might go with what you said, Sean, like the whole organic nature of it and all of that is what justifies the higher cost. I pay $6 for a red pepper at the farmer's market. I'm okay paying $140 for a Nicnean.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're kind of in the same thing. Buy a kit, try it. We're telling you must buy is the Bardstown. That's, I think, the for sure out of this episode.
100%.
If you were going to buy the Buzzards Roost blind at 124, I don't want to go ahead and just be like, you're going to be super happy with that purchase.
I agree.
At 124.
Yeah. If you like bourbon, you're going to like that whiskey.
You're going to like it.
You'll totally like it.
You might not like paying 124 for it.
It's value wise. I think you can probably find something for less money that will scratch that itch.
Yeah. 50% Ball and Bond.
Yeah.
There's actually probably quite a few.
Yeah. Totally.
And again, they're craft producer, and this is guys, this is why I don't carry American brands right now.
Yeah.
This right here, what we're talking about, this was several brands I had that sat right in this market, right in this, whatever Buzzards Roost is doing right now, were several brands that I had that were very tough to sell because of the conversation we're having right now.
Right.
And this is what we were talking to Ray Daniel about. You can go and buy a really good bourbon for $60. So how are you convincing someone to spend $125?
Yeah.
And it was really hard for us. So it's kind of, this almost makes me a little emotional because this is like, I've been the Buzzards Roost rep for not Buzzards Roost. Well, according to Gemini, I am.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob, I'm not. But I've been that brand, and that's a tough world to be in. This Bardstown price point, much better world to be in.
Totally.
Yeah. If you're going to go between the Buzzards Roost and the J. Henry, you go straight to the Buzzards Roost between those two, in my opinion. I don't even think it's close.
I agree with that.
I don't. Yeah. J. Henry and Sons doesn't even hold a candle. Does it?
This is another really good example, also of scale. So, Bardstown's making 68 million liters a year, right? The big dogs down there are making, I don't even know, like Buffalo Trace, Jim.
Oh yeah.
We're talking 100 million plus, right?
Yeah.
But Buzzards Roost, 60 to 70,000 liters a year. J. Henry and Sons, around the same. This goes right back to craft producing and how do you put out a product that people will buy at a price that can still make you money?
Yeah.
And so Bardstown's like, they're not quite at the Buffalo Trace level yet, but they're able to produce a fucking really nice whiskey for $80 to $85, let's say. And these other small producers that you just can't.
Yeah.
I think with Buzzards Roost, like we said, like what they're known for is their finishing. And I'm just looking up, like shopping in Alberta for Buzzards Roost. Like they have a rye that was finished in a peated whiskey barrel. And I've tried it and it is good.
That's
and
totally
you can
unique and cool.
Yeah, you can find that 105, 110. But you can find like their number one char rye whiskey, like their basic rye. That's $90. You can find char number one rye whiskey, $80.
Yeah, so they have other options.
Yeah. At their number one char bourbon, $93. So
the other thing, Sean, and this is maybe another conversation, but like they're sourcing this stuff from MGP, like Buzzards Roost. They're not making this stuff like J. Henry and Sons. So, but they gotta buy the barrels to finish this shit in. They gotta pay for their warehousing. They gotta pay for all these things, and again, on a very small scale.
Yeah.
And these big brands can make pennies on the dollar on every single bottle sold. I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about like the airline industry and the way they make money. It's literally every person that flies on an airplane, they profit like dollars. Like we're talking a couple bucks a person. Buzzards Roost can't afford to do that.
Right.
J.H. Henry can't afford to do that. Bardstown's getting closer to being able to do that. They're probably profiting like $6-7 a bottle. But like Jim Beam, Buffalo Trace, they're profiting like $1 a bottle, maybe. I don't know what the margins are, but we're talking tiny margins because they're moving so much.
Yeah.
So as a small importer myself, I'm convincing people to spend that extra money all the time on Single Cask Nation and all these different brands. You just got to decide where to spend your money. And you go buy that Buzzards Roost, you put it on your shelf, someone comes to your house, you pour it for them, you're like, this is a fucking cool company.
Yeah.
Hardly anyone else in the world can tell you they've tried this. Not that small, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to try this at anyone else's house. And it's really cool. You can't do that when you pour someone a glass of Jim Beam. No offense to Ray Daniel, but you can't.
Totally.
So you're kind of just paying for all of that. I don't know. I feel bad where we're at with like this buy or not buy, and you can hear it in like I'm just because this is the world I live in, and this is kind of like Shalafu. I know the world he lives in. I don't even know if like when's like they must be still bringing this stuff in.
Yeah, this is a new product.
This is a brand new product, so it's moving to some extent.
Yeah, I get it, but like I think it goes back to half hour ago where we're doing this podcast to drink whiskey, hang out with friends, but also to share new whiskey with people that probably have never heard of it or may never heard of it, and we're just giving our opinions on it. But if we're not truthful to ourselves and to everybody that's listening, the 12 of you, like if we're not truthful with it, then what are we?
Yeah,
we have to be truthful, and sometimes truth hurts. I get it. Believe me, I get it. I get told all the time that I'm an idiot, and it's the truth. Hurts.
And I do think that's the beauty of the kits with the podcast, because not everyone's palate is going to be the same.
No, exactly.
Right. So you can try these whiskeys and form your own opinion.
But Jared, you say that, and like our palates aren't the same either. But we're not saying we don't like these whiskeys.
Totally.
No.
Right. So like we're saying like we're saying we like, and same with last episode. What it comes down to is you look at the price, you look at what it tasted like, and then you have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back to the farmer's market. Is it worth me going to a farmer's market and spending $6 on a red pepper versus $3 at a local grocery store? And you have to decide as a consumer, are you willing to pay that extra? Yes, you're supporting a local farmer. You're getting something a little bit more unique, a little bit more cool, but it's twice as much money.
Right.
You're doing that with J. Henry and Sons, Buzzards Roost versus Bardstown, and then on another level after Bardstown, you're doing it with Jim Beam or Wild Turkey or whatever it is. You have to make that choice as a consumer. The problem is right now in this economy is people are keeping their money a little bit tighter right now, and it's a reality we're all living in. I'm not eating out at restaurants as much anymore, and Sean's calling timeout.
We had a little pet emergency there. Sean had to go let his dog out, but we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
The dog's asleep again, and we're back.
We are back. Should we grind a malt?
I think so. It's we haven't really had a grind a malt segment, not like before on the old one, but every so often something comes up that just grinds my malt.
Hit us. What do you got?
All right, so the title of this grind my malt is Dalmore. What the fuck? And so this is very recent. In between the 16 hours that we recorded our last episode and this came out. And so we know as whiskey consumers and watching the market that the past couple of years, the Dalmore core range, I guess, has gone up and has jumped the shark in price beyond belief. 18-year-old went from, it was like $170 before, and it's like almost $1,000 now. The 15 went from 120 to like 500, 600. Like they're all very low ABV, super colored. They have a cool emblem on the bottle, but like nothing about it screams premium except for the brand themselves. They are trying to make it an ultra premium brand. And that brings us to the malt. It was recently released from them that I don't know if they totally revamped their entire visitor center or whatever, but now the starting price to visit the distillery and go on a tour is 250 Great British pounds per person, minimum of 2 people. So to even step foot in there, to go on a tour there, it's costing you 500 Great British pounds, which is over 800 Canadian dollars.
800? Dalmore wouldn't even be on my list to visit.
No.
If I went over there.
So here's the funny thing. So
unless I get to throw a little bit of whiskey out of my glass and it just lands on.
So some very high profile people, Master of Malt, Christiane, she posted about, now she used to work with Master Malt, so kind of blurred lines there. I really like her. I like everything that she does. But there was Whiskey Wednesday, I think, was the other one that kind of had the opposite. But there's people commenting on these posts. And I said, for 250 Great British pounds, I better be able to swim in that vat of E150A that they have on site, and then have Richard Patterson throw whiskey out of a glass and anoint me as the chosen one, because that is fucking ridiculous. That, like...
Maybe it comes with a happy ending.
Yeah, that's what the E158 is. Like, so many people that commented that my whiskey journey started at a tour. My whiskey journey started because I visited 2 distilleries and went on tours.
Right.
And it was the whole reason I fell in love with what whiskey was. Because before that, it was something to shoot at the bar that my wife managed and get drunk as quickly as possible. Then I saw the other side of it. I saw the beauty of it. I saw the elegance. I saw the time, the honor that goes into it, the passion. Like I saw all that, and that's what led me to this moment right here. I get, if you want to be ultra premium, cool, but now it's becoming like elitist. Like, you have to have a 6-7 figure portfolio to even step foot in our distillery. And the 3 of you, last cool whiskey podcast, fuck you guys. You guys can't afford to come here. We don't want you. Like, that's the signal that they're giving, is that they don't give a fuck about 99% of the people that drink whiskey.
Well, honestly, if the Dalmore experience was free, it wouldn't be on my list.
No, clearly. So again, funny story.
They can go fuck themselves, because I'm not going anyway.
So, funny story, rookie drinker just decided, I'm going to drink whiskey now because I went to Scotland and Ireland. First bottle I ever bought, Highland Park 12. Second bottle I ever bought, Dalmore 12. Why? Because it was dark as fuck and it had a cool deer on it. And it was cheap. It was $80.
Yeah.
Now that same bottle, like, I'll look it up, but it's not even close to that. But like, I drank maybe a quarter of that bottle and it got given away.
Right.
Because it's people may love Dalmore, and I apologize to you. Dalmore whiskey is shit. I'll say it. The cigar malt, maybe one that I could get by, but not at the price. Not at the price that they are demanding. $150 Dalmore 12. It's almost doubled in price in less than 10 years.
You can get like an incredible single cask nation for around that price point.
Single cask, cast strength, non-chill filtered, non-colored. Everything that Dalmore is not is what you're paying for the same price to get.
Totally.
Dalmore 15, $240.
Dude, I'm not even looking at that. Yeah.
Well, am I unmuted? I'm unmuted. I muted myself to eat popcorn. After listening to the last episode, I realized how loud my popcorn chewing was. It is ridiculous. It's dumb. Dalmore is just not even on my list. I don't have a bottle of Dalmore on my shelf. I'll probably complete my whiskey alphabet back here without a bottle of Dalmore. I just might not do it.
You could find an indie bottled Dalmore for a quarter of the price of their OB releases. It will not be colored. It will not be chill filtered.
There's not many of them out there, is there?
No, but you can find them. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, let's it's just it's crazy to me that they think that's something people will pay.
Oh, and you go on their website and it states right there exactly what I said. 2 offerings per day. Oh, that's just to get in the doors. If you want anything else, you got to pay more.
Do they maybe just not want tourism? So they're just like, fuck. If a couple
They
people
just
pay.
rebuilt their entire visitor center and based on tours.
Oh. So,
Like,
So I wonder if it's a bit like, wow, that cost us way more than we thought. This is the price we have to charge people to help pay it off.
but like, I'm not a economics major, and I'm not a linguist either. Clearly, but 1,000 tours at $50, 2 tours at $250. You're making more, given a better price.
are you guys
like-
getting a little bit of? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Like supply and demand, the basis of all capitalist economy. I cannot see there being that high of a demand to pay £500 to
No,
go to Dalmore.
no.
It's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can't. It's dumb. We just can't keep harping on it. It's dumb. It's silly. It's dumb. No one's going. I want to talk to someone after they go and pay that money and say, was it worth it? That's the interview I want.
Yeah.
As investigative journalists, we need to look into this.
The problem is the only people that have done the tour are the people that were given it for free as like a press thing.
Yeah, promos.
And I ain't taking anybody's word that gets it for free.
Is anyone getting cherry out of the Bardstown now?
I went back to the J. Henry and Sons and got a weird peanut flavor that I always get off of Jack Daniels. Has like a nuttiness to it now.
Oh, weird.
I got some cherry out of Bardstown late,
I'll go back to it.
which I don't normally love cherry notes in bourbon, but it's very subtle. But I feel like it's there.
Mm. Yeah, I totally get it now.
It's crazy.
This
Like
it's good though. It's like it's nuanced. It's
It's not coffee.
but I didn't pick up cherry before because
No.
I normally
all.
I'm not a huge cherry guy.
Have you guys tried the Nika coffee grain and got a coffee note off of it?
Okay, we don't have to pile on Sean.
I'm just saying, power suggestion. You put cherry in my head, and
Okay, I see what you're doing.
I
I'm
got it.
saying power of suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whiskey Club shout out. We forgot. Well, I emailed the club today because I was like, oh shit, we need a club. They didn't get back to me. So they'll probably be our club next. I reached out to the Cardian Whiskey Club out of Vancouver. Our buddy Brad. Good dude.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Hoping to do an event with them. But I emailed him at like 2 p.m. and just said, hey, if you can get back to me by 8, you're the club. So I might ban him for a month if he doesn't get. I check my email.
Ban him for a
Might
month
be like,
and then bring it back.
you don't check your email once a day, Brad?
But I feel like with him on Instagram, even it's like sometimes it's 24 hours.
Well, it's probably email's different for some people, and it's probably a club email, and he probably checks that less.
Trav, you haven't
or he might
responded
have
to my-
good boundaries. Maybe
You haven't responded to my club email in like 6 weeks, so it's all good.
You sent me a club email?
No, I'm just kidding.
Tasting kits.
So it's May 8th right now.
Yeah.
The last kits went out 7 days ago.
May 1st.
Yeah, they are for sale. That's the Japanese and the new distilleries. Very cool tasting kit.
That's I think it might be the coolest, most unique one we've done.
I
Yeah,
agree. I think
you're
so.
getting 6 whiskeys that are not alike at all.
Yeah.
It's a very cool taste across a whole palette of a whole range of notes. But yeah, this current episode, which it is now, fast forward, it's June 1st, and
Yeah.
you're listening to this.
Can't buy these ones yet.
Nope, these will be out July 1st, and
Yeah.
little sneak peek. The kits in July 1st will be a little USA versus Canada. 'Cause July 1st episode is Canadian whiskey. So
That'll be actually a really fun kit.
That'll be a cool kit.
It will.
These 3 whiskeys, and we honestly don't even know what we're drinking for the Canadian episode yet. So
No, it's, you know what? You know what would be fun? Is if Rachel makes us a little legend that tells us, but we drink them blind, completely blind, live on the podcast.
That would be cool.
That would be fun. So she just labels ours A, B, and C.
Yeah.
There's a legend, so we can reveal it live on the podcast. And everyone that buys a kit gets the real label.
the full label. Yeah.
But we drink them blind and we try and fucking predict what we're drinking. That might be fun.
I like that idea.
That would be a fun Canadian episode. Do we have
And literally, you'll take all bias out. We'll have to rank them.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Everything.
Yeah.
Do we have a guest for that yet?
Well, there's a couple people we could get. I'm thinking maybe our friend down the road. He might have a cool perspective on it.
No Gurpreet.
We'll edit.
He's banned.
He's banned.
We'll edit
He's
this.
banned. He's banned. No, Sean, there's none of that.
I'm not editing this out.
There's none of that. There needs to be 3 hands, and that was only 1 hand. There has to be 3 hands for an edit. That's 1 hand. Jer, no editing. We have Gurpreet, but he's banned from Drams for Fams, but he might not be banned from the podcast. Dr. Don, I bet he'd come on if we're interested.
2 fists up.
What the fuck? What are you doing?
I'm just kidding. I'm fucking around.
2 fists up? What's that mean? Like your elbows up with... I don't even understand what you're doing.
Just no descending line arms.
Okay. You know what? You're
No.
gonna get us- no, you're
There's-
gonna get us-
Or
you're gonna get us-
no.
Okay, who do you want, Sean?
I don't. It doesn't matter to me.
I don't know either.
We haven't even discussed it. So
Let's just bring Caitlin back on.
An ADL perspective.
Let's listen to her accent. Like, she's great.
We got Bob Baxter at 2 Brewers would be a good interview.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Would be very good. Gurpreet's got to earn his stripes. He needs a few more whiskeys on the market before he gets out with us.
well, I was kind of hoping that he'd have a whiskey out before that podcast, but
He's being patient. He's being like Aberargi. Patience. It's 12:34 our time. Should we part the glass?
yeah, it's getting
Let's
there.
part the glass. It's getting late.
The music's playing. It's delightful. When this episode airs, will be in probably Osaka, Japan.
When do you actually leave?
I leave May 20th and I get back June 6th. So this episode is recording on May 8th. I leave in 12 days and I get back 5 days after this episode airs. And when are you in Ireland?
We leave in 8 days.
You leave in 8 days.
I leave next Friday. Yeah.
So you leave on the 16th, 4 days before me.
16,
How long are you
4
going?
days before, 8 days.
8 days, nice.
So we
it's
fly.
an 8-day trip. That's a short trip.
It's a short one. My dad kind of has it dialed though. Like, he's been going back there for ages. It'll be cool. So it's my dad, his wife, me and my brother, and our 2 sons that are 15 and 16.
Unreal.
So it'll be fun. My dad did this thing with us when we were like early-ish teens, where he took us over, and he wants to continue the tradition with his grandkids. So my oldest nephew has been already, but my son and my older brother's youngest son are the same age, so we get to go together, which is
Which
fun.
cousin's that?
so it's Liam.
Oh, sweet.
So we're going with Liam and Jason and Mac and
Oh,
I.
nice.
He just got back from Regina, I don't know, a week ago. I think.
So crazy enough, today was the Bantam draft for the WHL. And last year, I was at work watching it live on my phone.
I know. We had it on both of our screens here at the office when that was going on.
Yeah.
To see what would happen with Liam. So cool.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good time in Ireland.
Thanks. You have a good time in Japan. I've been talking to Shane and Brendan, and we're swinging by both spots.
Yeah, I'll be obviously drinking much better whiskey in Japan, but like you and your Irish whiskey could have some fun.
Not even a chance.
You're teeing up with Michael, though, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Former
That's super cool.
interview guest Michael Pang and I are going to Chichibu Distillery on May 29th.
So cool.
Real.
Night before, we'll be at the Tokyo Dome for a baseball game.
Oh, wicked.
It's gonna be a riot. You know what, you guys? I'm reading a book right now. It's called Die with Zero or Die with Nothing, and the whole premise is take your kids, travel if you can, if you're fortunate enough. Just do it all, because there's no point trying to like predict what's gonna happen down the road. Money, just go on trips. Go to Ireland, go to Scotland, go to Japan, go to Kentucky. Just do whatever you gotta do, because these experiences are going to be so much fun, and the money will come and go. You're going to be broke for a while. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
How many Guinnesses do you think you'll drink in Ireland? Murphy's, whatever. How many Irish stouts in 8 days? 8 days.
So, okay, I'll tell you a story about this. So when I was 17 or 18, I did a trip over there with my dad. It was just the two of us.
My dad.
I think my minimum was 2 pints of Guinness a day.
That's child's play. That's nothing.
Right. I believe that I came home from that trip 14 pounds heavier than when I left.
At 18?
Yeah.
At 18, your metabolism should be high enough that that's not even an issue.
Oh, it was. Like, I was in super good shape. But I just and part of it is the eating too, though. It was like,
so good.
Food.
Yeah. I so just loaded up on Guinness and like
8 days. Let's do a Jeremy Guinness tracker.
Okay. I like that.
I want you to on the Instagram just a story every time you have a Guinness.
Okay.
And you got to split the G every time.
I always try every time.
Splitting the G, I'm over it. I'm just it's enough already. Just drink the beer however you want to drink it. We're always like, drink your whiskey however you want, drink your beer however you want. But when you drink Guinness, you split that G, because it'd be Jerry's. Oh, I thought you were splitting the G.
No,
I guess it's just I've never been able to do it, but that's probably why I'm mad.
So in 8 days, I'll be at work on day shift, and when this episode launches, I'll be on night shift at work. So
yeah, I kind of figured you had no cool updates like me and Jer.
yeah.
no, my cool updates in July.
Sean, I'm reading a book. It's called Die with Nothing.
So
And you're gonna have to not be at work so much.
I have to get above nothing to that die with nothing.
yeah. It's a little bit of, you still have to make the money
Yeah.
to go on the trips.
But I think when in July, Sean and I are gonna try to connect. Right? It's July, right? That you're coming out here.
Your wife has told me that there's an issue with the date that we're going to be there, but
Great.
I say fuck all kids' plans. We're going to the amusement park, Jeremy. We're going on rides, okay?
I love it.
All right.
I know I put it in my calendar. I'll double check it.
Connect, travel, have fun, enjoy your time. The whiskey is the accompaniment. The full experience is just doing the travel itself, and it's pretty cool that we're both going to be around the world at the same time, Jared. We'll have several tales. We don't even have our Canadian episodes scheduled yet.
No, I know.
We'll schedule that right after we end this recording, and then we'll figure it out. But anyways, this is a fun episode. Ray Daniel was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was cool revisiting bourbon. I don't know. It just flows. It's fucking 12:40 my time right now. That's 3.5 hours in.
Flew by.
Honestly, you guys know when this bourbon episode was first brought up, I was kind of against it, but
yeah,
I had a blast. It was good. It was
I thought you were a good sport. I thought you were gonna be a bit more of a dink.
No, Dalmore took the grinding in my mouth.
Yeah, but Dalmore, that was like you could have been madder at Dalmore, actually. You could have been a little bit harder on Dalmore. You were kind of like, well, I don't really like what they're doing, and
no, I literally
the
said
tours
Dalmore,
are a little. You could have
what
yelled.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Did Ray pick these samples? We didn't pick these ones, did we?
Correct. Yeah, we did not.
Go for it because we're not bourbon. We're not bourbon people.
So she picked them all, and like honestly, the Bardstown, it's a cracker. So thank you, Ray.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Get a sample kit, dudes. Always a blast. 3 hours on the nose. Remember, we were like, we can do 2.5. No, we cannot.
No, we can't.
No, we cannot.
It's the less structure we have, the more we just talk and hang out.
Yeah. It is what it is. One day we'll look back on these and we'll be like, you know what? Who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 hours of sleep in 36 hours? Who gives a fuck?
We'll see everyone on July 1st for the Canada episode with a guest we do not know.
TBD.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening if you're still here.
The Last Call Whiskey Podcast is sponsored by Whiskey Drop Canada. Don't forget that every 2 episodes, you'll be able to order a kit through Whiskey Drop where you can taste through all of the whiskeys that we taste on this podcast. And special thanks to our friends Really Jiggered for the use of their recording of Parting Glass in this episode. We'll see you guys next time.
Good night.